welcome to BeansTalk episode 10, a delightful show for people like you and me. A song to celebrate episode 10.
That intro was so strong that our microphone fell over.
It was too powerful.
It was too powerful for you. Well, we are 10 weeks into this show now, guys, so all bets are off.
Good God.
How are we still going?
Because it's the only social thing that we're allowed to do at this point
That's
in time. Yeah, we got video games to talk about and shit.
Whoop, whoop.
Lauren.
Emphasis on the shit.
Hi. Hello.
You tweeted something that caught my eye about a little game called Fire Emblem Three Houses that I don't think you've ever played.
Oh my God. So when we spoke last time, obviously Jacob, Ollie and I were all big sluts for Fire Emblem, and it's a game that we all keep going back to. Ollie is literally sitting in bed playing it right now. But you know,
exposing his unprofessionalism.
I mean, we're in bed, Jacob. It doesn't get more unprofessional than that.
Exposing the business.
You know how, like, sometimes you'll play a game and then you get really stuck, so you put it down, and then a month or so passes by and you're like, I fucking love this game. Why? I don't know why I ever stopped playing it. Then you boot it up and you're like, oh my God, this is fucking why.
This was why.
So I've been having that struggle with Three Houses, because I originally did, obviously, Blue Lions.
Yep, represent.
Our boy Dimitri bringing us home. But then I did the DLC, which I think everyone can agree is difficult, because we complained about the difficulty being kind of with the original story. So the difficulty for the Ash and Wolves DLC is up there. But I'm playing with the DLC on hard and permanent death. So some rages have been had.
You crazy.
And it's the paralogs, the DLC paralogs, like the new battles you get with the DLC are fucking insane. Like,
I'm
on
trying
hard,
to remember them. Yeah.
So I got to a paralog, and it's the one with this guy called Duke Gerd or Girth.
Duke Girth.
It might be Gert, actually. I'm not sure. But
well, he's just found his porn star name.
They call me Duke Girth.
And it's the one where, like, stop giggling. If any of the enemies get to him, so you're trying to save him, but if any of the enemies get to him, they turn into a demonic beast.
Right.
So, like, there is a fuck ton of these thieves and mages around the map. He is all the way at the other side of the map.
Yeah.
From you, near all the enemies. As soon as an enemy gets to him, they turn into a massive monster with multiple health bars, and there's like 20 enemies, so you have to get to him ASAP with a healer, because if he dies you lose.
Yeah.
And because I'm playing on hard, there's just extra enemies, and it's so fucking hard. And I also don't want any of my people to die, but you have to get to him so fast so that there aren't many beasts to deal with.
Yeah.
And it just took me, I would rage quit so many times, and then finally Ollie was playing Fire Emblem today, and I just got really mad, and I was like, fuck you for playing Fire Emblem. I'm gonna play Fire Emblem, and I'm gonna beat this fucking level. And then I did, and I'm so happy that I nearly cried. Because I just want to play Fire Emblem.
I could progress.
But this fucking level just didn't want to let me live.
Wow.
So now that's that done, and I'm never doing another DLC paralog again, because I remember
Oh no, they're good.
I know, but I've already done one, and I also got stuck at that one for months. It was Happy and Baltus's one.
And I can't deal with the whining, so...
And
I mean, Happy sucks. Happy is the worst.
She is not very good.
She's so squishy.
I love her. She looks great, and she's an angsty little gal, but...
She's my least favourite of the four newbies.
Is she the one...
with red hair?
I don't know which one that is.
She's a Valkyrie.
She the one with the horse?
Yes.
Yes.
She is worse than Lysithea in the mid. Don't get me wrong, I love Lysithea, but when you first use her, she is so fragile. She's so powerful.
Yeah,
but she's still a glass cannon. Like, you have to be careful with her. But Happy doesn't have whereas Happy is fragile, but then she's still not powerful.
It's
But
the problem.
yeah.
I don't know if it's a thing with the Valkyrie class or not, but anytime you put Happy within a single square of an enemy's range, they're like, "Oh shit! I don't care what I was looking at beforehand. Let's go kill the girl on the horse."
Oh, I know. I basically, anytime I have to use her, I just use her and keep her far, far away from anything that's
Pretty
happening.
much.
And like, with the fragile ones, I leave them out the way, and then when someone's got like 3 HP, I'm like, oh shit, get some XP, go kill them. You can actually kill this one.
Yeah.
But
I think the idea is that you move her a little bit, shoot someone, and then she can move again afterwards.
yeah, because all the ones on horseback or
Yeah, so you just move
dragons and
out
shit, they can
of
move again.
enemy
But it's
range.
just, it's hard with the fragile ones. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I just love Three Houses. I'm kind of shipping because I'm playing Golden Deer, but with the
Yes.
Ashen Wolves. I am
That's what I did too,
shipping
actually. Yeah,
great
all my Deer
minds.
playthrough. Yeah.
I'm shipping Constance with Lorenz at the moment.
Oh, I didn't do that. No.
Yeah, I when they were battling today, they made like a really good team
Yeah.
because I have him as a dark mage right now,
Yeah, it's usually a good shout for Lawrence.
and
I
they just
don't like him as a person.
they just seem really.
He's a
happy.
very Marmite personality, I think, is Lorenz. He can be
Yeah.
really, really sweet sometimes. Like I had him with Marianne. He got married to Marianne at the end of mine.
Oh, I
And
love Marianne.
their support conversations are so sweet and so wholesome. So yeah, some people love him, some people hate him. I think you just need to kind of use him a bit, and then you're like, oh no, he's not so bad.
I've got Felix as well because he's my fave boy, and I can't not have him.
Yeah, he's the only person that him and Lysithia are the only units that I've had in every single playthrough because I'm like, he's just too good to not
you
have.
just have to take them with you everywhere. Like, but the problem I'm having is because I had him as my love interest when I played Blue Lions.
Yes.
I'm now technically pursuing Claude and Yuri, but now I have Felix. I'm just like, but Felix.
I felt weird about that. Yeah, I kind of manipulated it in such a way to where whenever I had a net, I was like, she's not going to get with anyone.
Yeah.
If she can't be with, she's not with me. She's not with anyone.
So I just kind of move Felix around the map on his own, so he can't gain support with anybody.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, I ended up having Balthus and Hilda get together because they have a history.
Oh, yeah, they're cute.
Because Balthus
macho
was bros
people.
with Hilda's bro.
Yeah.
And then Yuri and Constance ended up together as well.
Oh, are there just the 2 paralogs for the DLC? Because there's the Happy and Balthus one, which I got stuck
think
at
so.
first, and I've just done the Constance Yuri one, so I'm really praying that there aren't any others because
The only other one I remembered was the Balthus one that you mentioned, yeah. So
Yeah.
that might be it.
that was the one where you were split in two groups, and Happy was all the way over one side, and Balthus was all on the other side, and that one made me rage many times because I didn't want to use Happy because she's shit. But I have her as part of my team just because I'm doing an Ashen Wolves playthrough.
Oh, yeah.
But my god, I'm glad that's over.
They can do the proper route.
Yeah, because I remember struggling with the DLC as it was,
Hmm.
the actual, bit at the beginning. And I tried to do that on hard, and I remember just fucking giving up and changing it on chapter 2 to normal because that chapter is difficult, and Ollie still hasn't done it because it's difficult.
So you've done it all on normal once before?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've not actually tried hard. I'm probably going to do it now.
I would recommend... See, I did the DLC I started it on hard, went back to normal, but I'm doing the Golden Deer playthrough. Yeah, I'm doing this on hard. And at one point, I did consider changing down to normal, which you can't undo just because of this fucking paralog. And I'm just really pleased I managed to do it.
Yeah, you powered through.
Would recommend doing it on hard. It is very challenging. You have to really think about your strats. You can't just go in balls to the wall. You've got to really think about playing defensively as opposed to offensively, which is quite interesting because it's made me play it.
Anyway. Yeah.
It's made me play it differently. So yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
And tweets were had about this.
Yeah, I was just so happy I had to tell the world. Tell my 32 followers.
She had to put it out there into the public eye to show how much of an elite gamer that she is.
I'm just so good, I'm a gamer girl. # girl gamer.
I mean, you tweet
1337.
I didn't tweet about my shits, did I?
You tweet about onions.
Oh, I had some French onion soup the other day for the first time since February when I realised I can't have onion soup. because of this strange IBS I've developed where I can't really have onions or peaches or apples, and it was okay. I survived.
Nice.
But, stomach ache was had, but I don't
Oh.
regret having French onion soup.
Worth it.
It's a great soup. It was Ollie's soup that hurt me. We've discussed this
I remember
before.
this.
He made it and he boiled it for like 4 hours, and it had like 7 different types of onion in, and it was delicious, but it was just awful for my intestines.
All the onion
Mm.
gremlins
Yeah.
entered your bowels.
Speaking of illness, I'm going to put in my disclaimer that I'm currently wrapped up in bed, unprofessionally playing Fire Emblem during this podcast and stuffing my nose full of tissues because
Stuffing them in there.
stuffing them in there to stop the leaks because I
Oh,
feel
lovely.
terribly unwell. So my presence can be felt, but I may not contribute that much.
He's
So
definitely contributed in the way of whining like a
I'm
little bitch
I'm
all
gonna-
day.
yeah, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to whine.
He was on the way to Starbucks. He was like, "I'm
I
poorly."
don't sound like that.
You absolutely do.
Terrible impressions.
I've got the nose
That's
sniffles.
what they are.
Do you know what I always use when I get a cold?
Alcohol.
They're called Actifeds, and they nuke your entire system. They put you to sleep as well. It's great.
Oh, that sounds great.
So
What are these?
you just sleep and expel all of the badness from your body.
Yeah, it dries you out so badly that you end up waking up like, oh no, I'm so dry. But then you realise, this cold is gone within 2 days.
Wow.
Where do I get these?
Over the counter.
Really?
Mm.
Ooh, Ollie.
You have to prove that you've got some sort of
Sneeze at them.
cold.
Yeah, just like sneeze in your hand and present it to them.
Sorry, can't prove it. Pandemic.
Well, considering that they put you to sleep and also thin your blood, there's
Ooh.
slight issues with them.
Oh, I can't have those then. Damn.
Sounds like the good stuff.
It is the good stuff. They're
Over the
so
counter.
good. I love promoting Actifed. Actifed give us the sponsors on this podcast, and I will take them live on air, and then you have a half-hour countdown before I fall asleep.
Eat your Actifed, kids.
Oh, see,
Um,
I just take a Zappane and go to
We're,
bed.
we're currently only sponsored by Tesco, Health, Max Strength, Cold and Flu, Night and
I have to
Day
take,
Relief
like-
capsules.
I have to
Tesco's
take
own brand.
like 4 of those for them to have any sort of effect, and I think that might just be because of how I took them during university.
Your
Whenever
body
cold
has
season
developed
came
a
around.
resistance to cold and flu
Regular
medication.
strength. Yeah,
This
they
is
don't work. They don't work
this
as
is
well.
why I'm on the Zappane, because I take one usually, but I remember once at work, because I can't take them at work because they make me so woozy, and it's a real like
Scientific term there.
yes
Wasn't it?
woozy. You know what I mean though, when you're just like
Yes.
and you feel fuzzy in the face, and
All I've got in my mind is rhubarb and custard from that old kids TV show where they wiggle in their animation every single frame.
so I thought I was taking 2 paracetamol at work once, and I took 2 Zappane, and I usually only take 1 Zappane even when I'm at home. And I remember sitting next to my friend Aaron, and he was like, "You haven't moved in 40 minutes. Are you okay?" And I was just staring at the screen like, It was a dark time.
Wow.
And then he tried to stage an intervention because he thought I had a problem.
Oh,
Because
well,
yeah.
I mean,
Aaron, if you're listening, I'm sorry that I
you're
worried you.
promoting on
Double
the
the
air
dosing.
your painkiller problem.
No, it was an accident. Now everyone's gonna think I'm a druggie.
well. Speaking of colds,
Yes.
Ollie,
Hello.
before you disappear into the nether regions of nowhere land, tell me what you've been playing.
Oh God.
was
Blasphemy.
cold a transition into Skyrim?
Hey, there we
Cold
go.
Tundras
Was that
of
what-
Skyrim.
I was hoping that you would do it a bit more smoother, come up with your own little joke,
No.
but I'll give you the pass
No,
because of
I don't have the brain power right now.
yeah, exactly.
He doesn't
yeah,
have the brain
I-
power anyway.
I touched on it last week how I booted up Skyrim just to get that warm nostalgia buzz. and I got it, and now I've fallen deep down a hole, and
Is it making you woozy?
Yeah, there is no ladder out of this hole.
There's Draugrs down there. Falmer.
30 hours into a playthrough of Skyrim.
Nice.
I'm gonna put Ollie on blast to the public here. Ollie Saville has so many fucking video games going at once that he is, and that
I sacked them all off and started playing something 9 years old because I was just too overwhelmed.
That is literally you in a nutshell.
Every single podcast we've done for the last 10 weeks features Ollie starting something new and ditching the old thing.
Joel,
except for the 9-year-old fucking video game.
Joel, I'll have you know I played half an hour of Death Stranding yesterday.
And then
what did you do?
I made a single delivery.
Was this just so Joel wouldn't be mad at you?
It kind of was, yeah. I had a sense of accomplishment. I got into a nice foresty region of the game that I'd not visited yet. They did say something about taking my blood. So I think I've made some progress in the story. Yeah,
the game's about to open up to you. You've got guns now.
Oh, they've not given me a gun yet. They just...
Oh, they will. You were like on the precipice of guns.
No, it was just... Dead Man? Is that Guillermo del Toro? I'm forgetting the name now. Him saying that he was gonna, like, I don't know, put my blood in a squirt gun or something, and it scares off the BTs. I think that's what
That's pretty much what they give you, is a gun that shoots your blood.
Cool.
You have to use blood packs.
No, I did a single delivery, and I told myself I'm going to do this delivery, and I'm not going to pick up any of the crap. And I didn't pick up any of the crap. And it didn't help, because I got swarmed. I got into this foresty area, and there was just fucking BTs everywhere. And
yeah, I know exactly which area you're talking about, and that area is basically crouch and just keep going forward.
Yeah, and it was raining, and my containers were bust, and by the time I got there, they had handprints all over them, and I got 2 stars for that delivery. So taking your advice and not picking anything up, everything will be fine. Well, it wasn't fine because I got 2 stars, and then I saved and turned the game off.
Ollie is the only person that I have ever known that he will find some way or another to find a game overwhelming and go back to something like Skyrim or Witcher 3.
I need... I don't know if simplicity is the right word. Consistency. I need repetition.
He needs his comfort.
Exactly.
You are just...
I need my comfort blanket games.
Tiny child climbing into bed.
Nothing can hurt me because I'm 16 years old again and playing Skyrim in my room.
So, Ollie, let's list the games that you've got going on all at once.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll miss some.
So we did this yesterday on the group chat, but you know, considering I'm putting you on blast, I'm actually going to make a note, and then I'm going to cross them off every time that you actually manage to
do this. I was actually going to make like a spreadsheet, and then I could physically tick off the game.
Let me guess, that was too overwhelming.
Yeah,
it sounds like fun to me.
Yeah.
That's my kind of thing. Make a spreadsheet out of it.
Yeah, I made a spreadsheet for
I
Animal
love a
Crossing,
good spreadsheet.
So...
Well, originally it was
that's
my PS4 bucket list, because I was like, I'm going to get through all these games before I get my PS5. Like, I know I can play them on there, but I want to tick this generation off. And the only game that I ticked off that list was God of War, which had like a 2-month break kind of mid-save, but I did go back to it and finish. I think it was Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay, it wasn't a comfort game.
No, I went back to Horizon when the sequel got announced, because I was like, there's a sequel now, I better finish this. So I went back to that mid God of War, but then I went back to God of War and now haven't finished Horizon.
Because you also I bought you the Final Fantasy remake for our anniversary, and you haven't finished that yet.
Yes, I got about halfway through that and was really enjoying it, and took it out of the PS4 for some reason. and then it's not gone back in since. So that's on the list.
Not to spoil Game of the Year shit, but it's my favorite fucking thing this year, so you better play it.
I was
There, shaming you.
I literally have no reason that I stopped playing it because I was enjoying it so much.
It's so good.
He still has Tifa's theme as his theme on the PlayStation.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it just plays constantly.
It's very soothing.
So the list so far
Blast me, Joel.
is Death Stranding, Horizon Zero Dawn, Hades, Skyrim, Fire Emblem, FIFA, Final Fantasy VII Remake, what was it called? Persona 5.
Dead Cells.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. If you're going into everything, like all the indie games I'm playing and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because
I don't think you've finished Dead Cells, have you?
No.
I've absolutely not finished Dead Cells.
Exactly, there we go.
I've played
What
a
constitutes finishing Dead Cells?
You
then?
actually
Exactly.
Seeing the final boss.
You still haven't actually technically finished Pokemon Sword because you only just beat the champion, but you haven't even finished the post-game stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, fuck that. That's not how.
I'm putting it down.
Put
It's
it
not
down.
that great.
Yeah, but you have to so that you can get the IV checker and start breeding for competitive.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Jacob, didn't mean to shout at you.
Jacob.
It's only because he keeps saying, "Oh, I'm going to get into competitive on Pokemon again, but I've got to do the post-game stuff," and then he doesn't do the post-game stuff.
No, I said that originally until I decided that I don't want to play that game anymore.
Well, you still are going
That can
back
be
on your word
that
like
can
a
be
puss.
no, it can be crossed off the list. It's been retired.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, it's been retired
You
then.
haven't
Hang
finished.
on, this
You bought
pen's...
the DLC, but you haven't played the DLC.
I have no
I did the
intention
same
to
thing.
play the
told
DLC
me you'd play the
So
DLC.
why did you buy it?
because I originally had an intention to play the DLC.
You said you'd play it with me.
and then have now decided that I don't like those games.
Eh.
So this DLC, because I bought it and started playing it as well, but didn't finish it. Are you like forced to use Cubchew?
No.
No?
I
I thought you had to like raise its friendship level up or something.
Yeah,
And
but
I was
then,
like, fuck that. I don't want to use your
to
shitty
be
little
honest,
bear.
I haven't played the DLC yet, but so me and my friend Joss, we just always play Pokemon games like intensely for our entire lives. We always meet up on release day. We look forward to it all the time. We replay games at the same time. We're just very, very nerdy Pokemon trainers. And he like we stan Pokemon. Like we just like we will find the good in all of the shit games. But even he was like, the DLC is not good.
Oh, okay.
He said that the second DLC is much better. The first DLC is not good. So I do want to play it because I feel like as a poker nerd, I have to actually do it just for the sake of doing it. But yeah.
Not looking forward to it.
Disappointing. Just give me Gen 4 Remake. That's all I want.
So you know there is actually currently rumors going around of a collection.
Yes, I do know about this. There's a collection from a credible source. That they're gonna do
4chan.
That they're gonna do the thing that they did with the Mario games, putting them all on one console. They're gonna do that with the DS games, like all the DS ones, like Diamond and Pearl and shit. And I would love that.
Okay, so it's just a re-release.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually they're doing it like red and blue versions. So they're gonna be like red, silver. Those 2 Game Boy re-releases that they did
Okay.
on 3DS, but like no work done to them. It's just as is, like the Mario.
And I'd be happy with that because the DS is not made anymore, and it's the kind of game that I still replay those games.
Are they going to have limited digital stock?
Probably. I would suspect so.
I'm gonna buy them because I want a Gen 4 remake, but I'm still gonna buy them because I'm a schmuck.
It would be nice to have them all in one place.
I think it's Gen 1 through 3 is what's gonna be.
No, I reject this.
Well, that one's
and not including Yellow, Crystal, and Emerald.
No.
I mean, if you're gonna have Gen 3, it seems dumb to not have Emerald.
Yeah, but this is also Nintendo who's introduced the concept of digital limited editions. Like,
now
this is
mad.
The screenshot I saw was also from, I think it was a storefront had it up for a short time, as they are wont to do at this point in this time and place, because hey, you're probably working from home and managing e-commerce backends from home and not having access to your actual equipment. Probably missed the button to say, hey, don't publish this to the internet just yet.
Yeah.
Lauren, anything else that you've been playing?
Yes.
Because obviously I've got this big list of Ollie's stuff, but clearly he's not been playing any of it. So, and
Did Ollie have anything else to say about Skyrim?
Oh yeah, go on, have a look.
Yeah, you talk about Skyrim, Ollie. Go on.
Have your time.
What more can be said about Skyrim is just...
Exactly. Moving on.
It's just the same game forever. Everything that can be said about Skyrim has already been said. No one's going to listen to me say
I'll
it.
let you know how it runs on PS5.
Oh shit! They're gonna totally try and port it. No, wait, they won't.
I mean, the
I don't
Legendary
know.
Edition would run.
Yeah, but I don't know if PS5 will get a Skyrim PS5
Not its own
edition.
version. You can't at this point, surely.
Considering
They've got to become self-aware at some point.
Do it. No, that would be becoming self-aware. That would just be doing it for the memes.
Suppose.
Well, I
Just
mean,
fuck it,
considering that
Skyrim.
Slap
Bethesda
Todd
is
Howard's
no
face on
longer,
the front.
considering that Bethesda is now a Microsoft company,
Oh,
Yes.
of course, yeah.
like I don't know if
Okay,
that'll ever happen. At
Skyrim
this point.
Series X.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, you're gonna have to go out there, buy a Series X or S, and tell us how that runs.
Just to play Skyrim.
A special upgraded Mega Legendary Edition.
The Xbox
so
Series X Skyrim edition.
Oh God.
Super
No.
Skyrim Turbo.
Moving
Todd-
swiftly on.
Well, moving slightly adjacent, Mr. Todd Howard was out there recently talking about Starfield, actually.
Was he now?
He was at Develop Bristol, a
Space
online
Skyrim.
online conference sort of deal, for developers and whatnot. He basically was talking about how it's a ways off yet.
Good.
And Elder Scrolls 6 is even further. So
what
stop
exactly
asking me
is on
questions.
Bethesda's? Yeah, what is on their agenda for the near future? Seems like nothing.
Fallout 76.
Doom DLC.
Well, that's the thing, is like Bethesda is a multifaceted company at this point, and also a Microsoft subsidiary, so it doesn't really matter what
guess.
they're doing. There's no multiplayer aspects in Starfield.
Right.
A focus on procedural generation during level design, confirmed for Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6.
They've not thought about whether that's going to be an Elder Scrolls 6. They've purely thought,
Well, so we're
going to do that in Starfield. Maybe we'll reuse some
If
assets.
we like it, yeah.
Well, so they're actually rebuilding the entire engine. Well, using the same stack of tools, but rebuilding those tools that from Fallout 4 and whatnot. So I think they've said that they've got a 5 times larger team working on the engine alone. Compared like Bethesda studios in Dallas, Maryland, and Montreal are all working on Starfield, while Bethesda Games Austin is in charge of Fallout 76. So they must be like, oh shit, we can't have this going out as a buggy mess again. Let's fix it. I hope. And I think that might actually be partially why they sold to Microsoft, is like, hey, we want to get this right, because boy, did we fuck that last thing up.
I'm interested. I'm curious to see how it turns out.
I'm interested in the fact of like I think No Man's Sky was a very interesting idea, and seeing that on a larger RPG scale would be even more interesting.
I presume that's where it's going with the procedurally generated stuff. I could get it for Starfield with planets and stuff. I'm not sure about Elder Scrolls 6. I know the first 2 Elder Scrolls games were kind of all procedurally generated, weren't they? And they basically just made the world.
It's the I think it'll be the dungeons and little areas that you will explore that will be
Okay, so each
yeah,
playthrough of the game will be different because your dungeons
bet
won't stay the same.
I wouldn't be surprised if Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield features like a labyrinth of 100 floors or something along those lines, where you have to go down and building in with the what was that mobile game called? Blades,
yeah.
Elder Scrolls Blades, yeah.
I downloaded that and then deleted after about 5 minutes.
I played that very briefly. But moving from the stars to the ring.
Oh,
Jacob.
That's my cue.
Here we go.
Let me just pull my phone out.
There's a reason you are.
There was a man walking with like full climbing gear outside my window and using the 2 sticks to climb across the pavement, I guess.
Oh, maybe he's just scared of slipping.
I wasn't expecting, because we're doing a bit of a different rotation, it seems. Usually it's someone goes through all of that, what they've been playing, then you move on to the next person.
Well, this is the episode, Jacob.
Switching round.
I think the idea was just get me out the way before I fall.
We're in double digis now.
Double
Things
digits.
are different.
We've made it.
Yeah.
Sign up to our Patreon.
Hey. We've got double digis now. We can open a Patreon.
Look, once we're getting actual double digits for listeners, then we can...
Oh, no, I thought we had like 12.
Well, I mean, as in like per episode.
Oh.
We've got 12 total.
Well, weirdly...
It's just me and
like
several times, yes.
I can actually see where Jacob has been listening.
Great, he's going to call me out for skipping segments.
No, not like I can see where you've been listening from, and it's because it's mostly the only person who uses a Macintosh laptop to listen to the podcast.
I mean, I guess my Spotify is logged in there, but it's mainly my phone more than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
So I wonder who this mysterious laptop person is.
He was on the Mac.
On the Mac.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I probably do have Spotify open on my Mac.
We're now calling out and shaming.
No, whoever you are, thank you. We're very
also the weird thing is that we got 20 views on YouTube for the podcast, but I don't know why, because I forgot to put tags and stuff in.
The algorithm
and I guess
took a tiny bit of pity on us.
I mean, I sometimes listen to it on YouTube.
But not 20 times.
I love us that much.
Maybe.
I have it on repeat all day.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jacob.
Yes.
You finished WWE Battlegrounds and never have to touch it ever again.
No, I don't have to ever play it again.
So just before you start, you actually sent a picture of you playing.
Yes.
I didn't expect the game to actually look like that.
What do you mean?
As in, like, I saw the trailers when it first came out, and then I forgot what it looked like, and then I saw it, and I was like, holy shit, this is ugly as sin.
It's definitely got its own style. I'll say that. It's a stylistic choice. Yeah, the characters are kind of weirdly proportioned and cartoony looking to kind of try and fit in with the All-Stars aesthetic, I think was what they were going for. I wouldn't say it's like a horrible looking game. It could be a lot worse. But yeah.
Yes.
I also sent you a video of creepy Jerry Lawler speaking through my microphone.
Yeah, that was
through my controller.
I hated that.
Whenever you choose a character, he shouts the name of your character through your controller at you. And it's honestly closer than I've ever wanted to be to Jerry Lawler.
I bet he smells of whiskey.
And fried chicken.
What's actually creepier, the Death Stranding baby crying through your controller, or Jerry Lawler just being?
It's even top.
We need a crossover DLC of crying Jerry Lawler.
I was going to say, please do not cross Jerry Lawler with a child. Keep him away.
Moving swiftly. Yes, so final chapter of Battlegrounds campaign mode. If you remember from last week, we had just started WrestleMania, and I was somewhat disappointed that there just seemed to be a complete lack of story behind a load of these matches that we were now doing for WrestleMania of all things. So we had Billy Huggins fighting The Undertaker. Legendary match, as I'm sure you can imagine. Of which, yes, Billy Huggins, I managed to beat The Undertaker. It was quite hard, but I did win. D-Generation X versus New York cyclist Bolo Reynolds and Gabriel the Disruptor Pierce, the hacker from Detroit. There was still no story, and that's where I got up to because I just stopped. I was like, well, if there's no story, I'll do this all later. So the next match was a triple threat. It was Rey Mysterio versus Kalisto versus TJ the Cure Salazar from Mexico, who was the kind of faith voodoo healer man.
Where does Kalisto fit in here?
I don't know, because I remember saying back at the end of Salazar's chapter, I was like, I fought friggin' Lince Dorado as my final boss of his chapter, and I was like, why Lince Dorado when Mysterio is literally in the story? He owns a clothes shop.
Swanky.
But I guess they were saving him for WrestleMania, and yeah, Kalisto's kind of here as well. Yeah, it was actually one of the most fun matches I've ever played on the game because triple threat kind of allowed it to not be that difficult, but also difficult enough to where it was kind of like dramatic in places. As I showed you from the picture, we ended up breaking the ring, which is something that I didn't know you could do in the game. If you play long enough, I guess the ring just breaks, like when Brock Lesnar and Big Show kind of fell off the turnbuckle into it. But it ended really anticlimactically because I just randomly tried pinning Mysterio once because we were all fucking knackered by the end of it. And Kalisto just stood there and let it happen. He didn't even try and break up the pin.
Done.
I guess he'd had enough.
Just take it. Just take
And I was like, well, this is a glaring error in the AI there. After a really hype match, it just kind of just let me win at the end. Next up was the Vela Twins versus the Bella Twins. Again, even though that was the end of their story, we fought the Bella Twins, but I guess it's the rubber match. It wasn't nearly as eventful. I just beat the hell out of Nikki Bella and won. Brie didn't even tag in. Now comes to the part where I got angry. So I messaged you guys saying about how the difficulty was bullshit near the end of the game. This was where it was. So I had to play as Buff Merida, Jessica Johnson.
Did she have a catapult this time?
She didn't bring the catapult. Maybe that's what I needed. Versus Ember Moon in a cage match. And I've beaten Ember Moon before in the story, much like I'd beaten the Bella Twins again. So I was like, this doesn't seem very, very climactic as I managed to beat her once already. I lost twice because I just think Johnson's a bit of a shit character. She's a powerhouse character, so she's just a fucking lumbering piece of shit. She's slow as balls, really, which meant that Ember just fucked my shit up all the time because she's too fast. And it was kind of at that point where I figured out that like this is how the game artificially increases its difficulty, because the amount of times in a row where I would throw a strike, they reverse it. Try to grapple them, they reverse it. And I'm like, this is not normal. You're literally just making it harder by making it so I physically can't fucking play the game.
It was always like that in the regular WWE game. So you up the difficulty and all that changes is that they just reverse.
They reverse shit. It doesn't make the AI any smarter or anything like that. No. They don't try anything different. It's just like, no, you just don't get to play now. It did it like a little bit before with The Undertaker when I fought him with Billy Huggins. But this was on like a whole nother level, to the point where I'd like hit 3 finishers on Ember Moon, which didn't even leave a lot like down on the floor long enough for me to leave the cage. But she did 1 finisher to me and I was fucking dead. I was in the grave. I was like, are you actually for real? I got really, really annoyed. So yeah, I ended up finally doing it on the 4th attempt. Put down friggin' Ember Moon / Goldberg. She's a friggin' beast. And then finally after that, there was some story. We actually got some story.
Hey.
Yes. So Paul Heyman and Steve Austin are hyping the crowd after these big matches. They announced that all of the Battlegrounds crew have earned the right to fight for the title of WWE Battlegrounds champion. But the fans will be the ones who get to choose who the contenders will be. And they get to choose one guy and one girl, with the fans being me in the end. Basically, I got to pick who I played as. So naturally, as I showed you in the video in the group chat, there was only one choice for me for the men's one, which was alligator wrestler from Florida, Billy Huggins.
Of course.
Yes, it had to be. And basically, for each of these championship matches, you have to do a 10-man Royal Rumble to win the championship. So for Billy Huggins, I had to face off against Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and The Rock. It was a very squeaky bum match indeed, because it was basically me playing survival. I felt like I couldn't actually get into the match that much, because as soon as I tried to actually put in some offense, they would just fucking swarm me and beat the shit out of me.
Come back for one more match, Dwayne. We're gonna job you out
to
in
Billy
a battle royal.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna strap a rocket to him.
Yeah,
Billy Huggins.
Billy fucking Huggins. Yeah. So yes, I won the men's one with him, and then for the women's one, because there's only 3 women you get to choose from, I could either play as Jessica Johnson, who I just have a traumatic experience with, or go for either of the Vela twins. So I chose Cassie Vell, and beat Naomi, Natalia, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Asuka, Beth Phoenix, and Ronda Rousey.
Jesus.
A 10 women rumble. So my champions were Billy Huggins and Cassie Vell, which leads to the end story cutscene being played, where it instead showed TJ Salazar and Jessica Johnson as the Battlegrounds champions, even though I didn't choose either of them. I was like, oh, all right, okay, I guess that's who you
Billy.
wanted me to play as, maybe, yeah. So WrestleMania's over. The crew are at the airport saying goodbye to Austin, and they're sad that they're leaving. The interviewers ask Steve Austin what's next for them, and Austin gives this proper end of movie monologue where he's like, whenever someone's in need of a hero or a protector or a friend, whenever there's a wrong to be set right or a lesson to be learned or a soul waiting to be found, that's where you'll find them, waiting, ready to join the battle. This is all this is all narrated over kind of shots of the Battlegrounds crew doing their own thing after WrestleMania. So Bolo Reynolds, the cyclist, ironically enough, is taking a running class. He's not even on a bike. Jessica Johnson is awaiting invaders at her castle. TJ Salazar is taking a Lucha Libre class, which actually makes sense. Gabriel Pierce, the disruptor, the technology man, is showing an old lady how to turn off dark mode on her phone. The Vela twins are running a boot camp for new wrestlers, and Billy Huggins is taking people to meet Jake Roberts in the swamp. And then...
Sorry, where did Jake Roberts come into this?
So this was, the second chapter where you play as Billy Huggins.
He just lives in the swamp.
It kind of comes out that, Jake Roberts has a shack in the swamp. And he's the guy who trained Billy Huggins. So when Billy Huggins gets hired by WWE, he goes to visit Jake and to be like, oh my God, I got signed. And Jake is like, I heard about it and I wanted to throw you a congratulations party.
Lance Archer is just a discount Billy Huggins.
I know, exactly. He was like, I wanted to throw you a congratulations party, but I didn't have enough snakes to spell out congratulations, so it's just congrats. There's literally snakes laid out in letters.
Are these snakes alive?
I presume so.
Very well behaved.
So Austin does his monologue, and then you get kind of an ending screenshot, as it were, of literally all of the Battlegrounds crew driving off into the sunset on motorbikes together. And it's really random. It's like, that's where you'll find them. And it's just them just driving off into the desert all on their own motorbikes. And I'm like, okay.
Oh my God.
Well,
that's
Jacob,
WWE Battlegrounds.
Thank you for the last...
Yikes.
Fuck, how long have you been telling us the stories of Battlegrounds?
It's probably for about 8 of the 10 episodes we've done.
He's just been torturing himself just so we could get the story, and we appreciate it.
I started it. I needed to see it through.
And here we are. And we thank you.
And now I can sell the game.
Exactly.
Get that out of your house.
But yeah, so that's what I did a few nights ago. So,
anything good?
What, that I've been playing, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we go for what else I've been playing, Ugh.
because like Battlegrounds, as funny as it has been, the game sounds horrible.
I'll admit I pay very little attention when I'm actually playing. I listen to podcasts while I'm playing it. So, I mean, I talk about Hades every week. I've started playing Hades again after taking like a week or two off since I finished the game with all the weapons. I've done it a further 3 times this week, so I've got one more left to go until I get the final story thing, because you said about 10 times was how much you needed to do it to get all the story for the main bit.
Yeah.
So I've done it 9 times now. Literally just finished one before I came on the podcast.
Get you.
So yeah, and I'm so close to romancing Dusa. I wanted to do it before the podcast so I could tell you guys about it, but we're so close. We're almost there. Almost getting to smooch the Gorgon.
I ended up romancing Meg.
She's been like the bottom of my priorities for romancing.
And I have seen a exclusive little exclusive a little hidden conversation between the one of the Furies that I can't remember her name.
Is it the one that says murderer a lot, or the one that can actually talk?
The one that says murder a lot.
That'd be Tisiphone.
Yeah. There is something very funny that there is a little nice cute storyline between her and Zagreus that starts to emerge.
Is it just dialogue for romancing?
Pretty much.
Do we get any
You
cutscenes?
get their keepsakes as well.
I'm not saying I'm desperate for a Dusa romance cutscene. I'm just curious.
I mean, I am. I don't know about you guys.
It's more I entered the room to the bedroom to move on to do another run, and Meg was there. A conversation happens, it fades to black, it says some time passes.
Oh man, does this happen with the other romance interests?
I can't say. I know it happens with
If they're leaving it up to my imagination with Dusa, then oof.
You don't want to know where those snakes go.
Oh no!
Oh, you're certainly getting head.
Hey.
Head and a snake up the bum.
Yes.
Wow,
that's money.
Dreamy.
So yeah, that's what I've been kind of, and you do get their keepsakes actually as well, which kind of help you. They're like summons that you can pop in during your run, for a limited amount of times.
Meg's is super fucking helpful during the tag team fight at the end of Elysium.
I still find that the worst boss. That's still the one that I get the most squeaky over.
It's only really bad because you have no chance to practice against
Theseus.
Theseus, because you don't have there's no time you have
just
a one-on-one fight against him,
unless you somehow manage to kill Asterius first, and then you just fuck about trying to learn his patterns and stuff when it's just him.
And even then, it's not even like learning his patterns. It's more of like, okay, I guess I'm just dashing around and hope to God that I have a boon that lets me deal damage while dashing, so that you might fall into it.
Yeah, I had a lot of backstab based stuff in the one I did this morning, where I just dash behind him with the fists and punch him in the back quite a few times, and that did pretty good.
I do like the treasure hunt in after that though. I like going through the little dungeons with all
the fourth world, which is like much like the bosses of World 3. I don't find that nearly as hard as the World 3 actual land itself, the main kind of bulk of the enemies and
like
stuff. The satyrs and that aren't that bad. The poison's the only thing that really fucks you over.
The poisons fucks you over, but those little pools of antidote, they fill up so quickly that as long as you're rocking that that dash button.
I've also kind of made note on my phone of the boons that I need to get still and their prerequisites, because sometimes you need a certain boon to have another one become available for the fated choices list. So I'm trying to work my way through that as well. I'll probably continue with it even after I finish the main story stuff. But
Yeah, at this point, it's I'm taking the boons that have a little exclamation mark next to them. It doesn't matter if it's a build or not. It's
yeah,
just like,
get it done
okay,
when they come up, because they come up so rarely at this point when you've taken most of them at some point or another. That it's like, yeah, no, even if it is going to fuck over my run entirely, I do just need to kind of tick this off.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at. Like, I've not even done I've only finished 5 runs. So
yeah, and the
How
other
many
thing,
have you finished, Ollie?
I have not yet beaten the Elysium boss.
it's real hard. Like I say, I still find it to be the hardest boss. I find it harder than the final boss.
There you go.
yes,
Trying to shame me.
I mean, maybe if you concentrated a bit more instead of going back to a 9-year-old game, then you would actually beat these games that you've just left on the back burner.
I mean, the other thing that I've been
Alright.
playing is also about 6 years old myself. But I have an excuse that I'm kind of in that awkward in-between period where I don't want to start any new games before the PS5 comes out on Thursday.
You actually got one, you weasel.
Oh, well, I just hope it gets delivered on time.
yes. So that's
Book time off for it, so
Yeah,
I really hope so.
we don't even have a PS5 in sight, but I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm just put off slightly from playing the PS4, and I think it's just me being salty. Like I said, I really want to play Miles Morales. Like I enjoyed Spider-Man so much, and it's just one of those games that I would 100% be getting dead on release
definitely.
day.
It's the one game I'm getting with it. Maybe
Yeah.
Demon's Souls if I have money.
Like to the point where I was just constantly going back and forth of, do I just want to buy this PS4 version? But like I know I'm gonna get a PS5, and I should just.
I mean, I'm even tempted to
in
play
full.
the Game of the Year version of the original Spider-Man PS4.
Yeah, I
would
would.
PS5.
I was gonna get the. I think the only way you can get that is with the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, I believe. I don't think you can get it standalone, but I was going to get that version because I absolutely will replay that game. So
I've heard just
of course you fucking will.
Of course I fucking will, yeah.
Just because of the way the controller is with the PS5, a lot of people have been saying it feels really, really cool. Obviously with the new DualSense controller, which is kind of the main thing I've been seeing about the PS5, really, that people are kind of really shouting from the rooftops is how cool the controller is.
Yeah, because the new Call of Duty sort of released. Like, I don't know how a Call of Duty stealth released, but it feels like the new Call of Duty
stealth
released.
I didn't hear anything about it, really.
But the DualSense plays into how heavy a gun feels when you're bringing it up to the. So the trigger will actually fight against you a little bit if you are lifting up like a big machine gun compared to a little tiny pistol.
I watched some people playing the tech demo that comes through it, the Astros Playroom sort of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just looks so cool. I really want to try it. But like pours a load of little robots into your controller, and you can kind of move the controller about and feel them rattling inside it. And it's like, oh, this is cool.
I was watching some stuff about the Demon's Souls remake for it, about how you get like kind of fluttering in your controller when you're on fire and things like that. It sounds.
It's one of the main things.
Haptics are like the way forward for stuff. I think, like even on iPhone, like whenever it the little vibrations that it gives off whenever something happens is, it feels good in the hands. It feels nice to have, like, considering that everything we have now is fairly touchscreen based or removed from physical contact. Like it's nice to have like that reaffirming
nice little
pushback from the device.
Touch,
yeah. What was it that so I've actually seen like it some developers have maybe fucked up the haptics on the PS. So I can't remember which game it was. I think it was the 2K basketball game. Maybe doesn't have the best vibrations because I don't think they put the work into the necessary work into the haptics. So it just feels. I bet it's just basically whatever vibration programming they've had on the PS4.
Yeah, maybe they didn't realize it was going to be quite such a big deal.
Yeah, like this. That's the only thing that worries me about the DualSense is like that Sony first-party games and stuff like that will take advantage of them, like Astro's Playroom and Demon Souls and whatnot. Like the DualSense is going to be fucking amazing on that sort of stuff. But it's like, okay, we need to make a game for I don't think Cyberpunk will be one of the games where the DualSense is used to its full advantage. We
don't need to add to their workload.
So that's the only thing that worries me about the DualSense.
Just to fit some DualSense into that.
Well, that PS5 version doesn't launch till next year at this point.
That's when I'm going to play it.
Yeah, have they even announced a release date for the actual next gen ones?
I think they've just said next year. just wait.
Probably. Fuck it. I mean, I was going to buy the PC version anyway, but maybe if it gets some nice DualSense vibrations, maybe it'll get me on the PS5 then.
It would be nice if the DualSense takes off, just so that this sort of stuff is then embedded within every version, and maybe Microsoft has to respond with like, hey, we made a new controller with haptic feedback in, if you want that. Just so that
the Xbox Series X controller Pro plus X version,
Turbo,
the Elite Controller 3
again,
the
again
Elite X.
I don't know.
There's many unnecessary X's as we can fit into that title.
Phil Spencer edition.
The Triple X Phil Spencer edition. It's just got Phil Spencer with his shirt off. He's got his blazer on still, though. But he's completely nude.
Nipples.
Yeah.
Somehow that controller is wearing a blazer and jeans.
It's got that. It's got a blazer texture over the controller.
Is it the nice little kind of tactile sort of?
Yeah, so like it's got like a nice cloth feel to it when you hold it, so it feels like you're holding and controlling Phil Spencer.
You can't have that idea for free, Microsoft. Please.
That's what I've always dreamt of.
Yes, I've been playing other things as well, though. The only other thing I've really been playing, as I say, because I'm kind of stuck in this weird in between period. We did start Danganronpa V3, which I'll still play even when the PS5 comes. Very sad this is my last Danganronpa. I don't know what I'm going to do when I've not got Danganronpa left. But other than that,
Fire Emblem.
I could play Fire Emblem, that's true. Other than that, it's been Hearthstone, because they've introduced the new progression system into Hearthstone, so they've completely overhauled the way that quests work now.
Jacob's playing Hearthstone. I hope you're going to shame him, Joel.
I did say it's like Ollie's gone back to something 9 years old. I've gone back to something that's about 6 years old. Yeah.
Look,
I would argue that you have put more time into Hearthstone than I have to any of these games that I'm replaying.
And money.
Here's the difference.
Updates.
Here's the difference, Ollie. Jacob doesn't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, technically 10 games going on all at once. He's actually managed to finish multiple games, whereas you've not finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, technically 10 video games since we've started this fucking podcast.
I've got
even I have finished games, and I'm shit.
I have a sampler just waiting for me there. I can dip into these anytime I want.
I'd just like to point out,
Ollie, how's Horizon Zero Dawn going?
He still actually technically hasn't finished Zelda Breath of the Wild, so 11.
Well, that's technically 11.
Yeah, nobody fucking finishes that game.
I finished it.
Literally everyone finishes that
game. For a few hours and didn't play it again.
I've done virtually everything. I just haven't done every single shrine.
Wait, I need to rewind. Jacob, what did you just say?
I don't really like Zelda games that much. I'm sorry. I always buy them and I always play them because I'm like, everyone loves Zelda and they're always like, oh, best games of all time on all these websites. but I start them, and I'm like,
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not shaming him. I was so
Yeah.
sure that that's not what he said. I respect your opinion.
You were getting ready to shame.
No, I thought I misheard him because I thought that I did.
She had her shaming hat on.
I did not. Only one shaming sock.
The only Zelda game I finished is Wind Waker. That's it.
I love Wind Waker. I
So
love that game.
You're slightly less shamed. There you go.
No, I respect his opinion. I was just very surprised. That's allowed. I'm allowed to have feelings.
So Jacob,
Yes.
tell me of the things.
So the way in which quests used to work in Hearthstone was very straightforward. In that basically you'd get a new one each day, which would be like play 3 games as this class, or win 3 games in general, or deal X amount of damage to enemy heroes, or something like that. Whereas you still get those quests through now, but they don't give you straight up in-game currency anymore. They give you, I don't know what they're calling them. They're like experience points / quest points for you to move along this new progression pathway they've introduced. So there's like 50 levels on this progression pathway that as you get more experience, you level up through this season's progression pathway, and you get various things for doing that. So it can be gold a lot of the time, still, like it would have been normally. It can be sometimes like you get a random epic card, or you get a card back, or a hero portrait. So it's more varied in the rewards that it gives you. And I actually really like the way it's implemented. I think it's one of the things I say all the time about Hearthstone is like the way that they implement things and the way they make things look and sound. I almost said smell then, but I think it's always really clean. It's always really aesthetic.
We're still a gen away from that.
Yeah, I want to sniff my Hearthstone cards, please. So yeah, no, I really like the way it's implemented. They've also introduced achievements into the game now, of which there are many, probably in the hundreds, I would say, of achievements you can get, which give you achievement points, which haven't actually been given a purpose yet, other than just having them, which I guess is the way that trophies and gamer score work on current consoles anyway. But some people are like, I would like it if these actually had some kind of purpose, whether it was to work towards unlocking even the smallest of cosmetics, just something for them to do. And generally speaking, I think it's a nice way of shaking things up. I think it gives you more of a long-term goal to work towards by moving along this kind of pathway, instead of just doing quest after quest after quest each day and getting more gold, and I'll buy some more packs, I guess. Whereas now, yeah, you can get card backs and hero portraits and all that sort of thing through it. The consensus among the community is very different. A lot of people don't like it from what I've seen, basically because, as I say, it gives you a more varied kind of set of rewards, but a lot of the people that I've been seeing in the kind of community spaces that I frequent for it are annoyed that you're technically getting less gold. You're getting less gold, but you're getting more of other things instead. So a lot of people are who like to kind of micromanage the game and try to get as much free stuff out of the game as possible. They're really not happy because they're technically getting less. They also removed the rewards that you get. You get 10 gold for every 3 wins you get each day. And you can do that up to 10 times. I mean, so people are annoyed that they've removed that because they were like, oh, that's, 100 free gold or whatever that I could be getting each day that I'm not getting now. I honestly don't know who plays the game that much to win 30 games every single day, because games of Hearthstone can take between 5 and 20 minutes. So I'm like, who the fuck is playing the game that much? And if you are, then you need to reevaluate things more than just the progression system of the game. And yeah, so people are kind of unhappy that the free-to-play nature of it is a bit kind of less so now. You can't quite get as much currency out of things. And also they've introduced the Battle Pass, which allows you to level up through the progression pathway quicker if you wanted to. You can pay 20 quid, and for the whole rest of the season, you get XP boost and a few other benefits to try and progress through things a bit quicker, which naturally, like the sucker I am, I've already bought. Yeah, no, I think it's a very nice addition. I like the idea behind it. Maybe it could be implemented a bit better. But it's kept me going on the game for a little bit longer as I've come back into it, as well as the new duels mode as well, which I've finally tried. We spoke about it a few weeks ago. It's something they were implementing that was kind of like a dungeon run PvP style sort of mode, which I've started. It's kind of how I feared it would be, in that there definitely are decks that are kind of optimal, because you choose your class and then you choose 15 cards to start with, and then you get the random kind of groups of 3 that you add to your deck after each match. There definitely are optimal selections that you can make for the first 15 cards that you pick, but the random element of it that comes later does kind of keep it a bit varied, to where it doesn't kind of grate on me quite so much to where it does with things like Tavern Brawl and Constructed, where you're just going up against the same thing over and over and over again. At least there's a bit of variety. So I've been enjoying that too. But that's the Hearthstone reports. I like it. No one else does.
Well,
and that's been me, basically. And yes, as I say, we're T-1 week to the PlayStation 5, hopefully. So I'll have Miles Morales to speak about next week.
Yeah, and PS5 stuff.
General PS5 stuff, yes.
Speaking of card games, I am also back, fully back in on the
MTG
Magic the Gathering, because they've just remastered and re-released one of my favorite Magic sets into Arena, Kaladesh, which is all about robotics and.
Is that kind of a steampunky one?
Yeah, Indian steampunk style sort of thing.
Kaladesh was what was about when I first started Magic. So when I got my starter pack thing box
from 2016.
Yeah, when I got that box, I got a lot of Kaladesh cards. So I guess I remember that fondly.
Yeah, so I've been drafting that, which is great fun, because it's been a while since I have drafted it. So seeing like the card pool again, and this card's back and this card's in. I can play with this card in Historic now, and whatnot, which is good fun. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, oh shit. But that game still continues to have multiple technical issues. For some reason, I don't know. I don't know whether it's the amount of stuff that Magic has contained within it that is just breaking the game consistently, but also that game has 2 infinite combos going at this point, and how do I put it? It seems to that they've still not figured out a way to get around that without just causing the game to go to an automatic draw. Once there's too much stuff for it to calculate, it'll just say, the game ended.
I'm done. I'm
done.
Still subscribed to the Magic Arena subreddit, so I still see stuff every now and then. And it's still everyone talking about Scute Swarm.
Yep, Scute Swarm is the card that consistently breaks the game. Not as in like it's very easy to deal with if you have removal. It, however, will quite literally break the application itself. So that's why the Magic Arena mobile app has been pushed back to next year, probably. Because hey, we don't know how to. This thing keeps crashing. This thing
that just multiply, and you have tons of them on the board.
Yeah, there's also another infinite combo within Historic, where there's 2 cards. One that if you gain life, you lose. If you gain life, the opponent loses life. But then when the opponent loses life, you gain life. Sort of thing. So once those 2 cards are on the field, it's basically just ping pong, watching those resolve until it ends.
Well, that's funny.
And then I have been playing, because it came to Game Pass. I've been playing Tetris Effect Connected.
Oh, I love Tetris Effect.
I want you to sell this game to me, because I love Tetris.
I'm all in to sell this to you as well. I love
Oh my
Tetris.
god! Right, okay. you're on a board panel. I'm sitting there on a comfortable armchair. Sell me this game.
Feels like me and Joel presenting in first year of uni again.
Yes. I fucking love Tetris. It won't be difficult.
What if Tetris had the best looking things going on all at once? Each level that you go into has its own theme.
Ooh, it has levels.
So the game, so the game is split into areas that you have to get. On normal mode, it's 36 lines per thing. But it's not just like, here come the Tetraminos and you have to manage them, and then it's like, no, each level will speed up and slow down, like change the speed of how fast things will fall depending on the music in the background, which is why it recommends headphones. So that you fully get immersed in the it has VR support as well, so if you want to play it in VR, you can do that. But that game has elicited a feeling from me that is not just like, it's Tetris. It's like, oh no, it's actually like kind of actively very beautiful. And
yeah, I mean, some of the levels that you'll find in there, the ones that kind of elicit these emotions, like there's the kind of underwater ones where you're watching like dolphins in the background. And like every time you move a Tetris block, it makes a little sound effect, and then when you put it down, it makes another one, and it kind of matches up really nicely into the actual song itself in the background. And it's just, it's a lot of kind of not psychedelic effects, but kind of colorful scenery with kind of a really, really good soundtrack mixed behind it. And you kind of playing the game kind of feeds into that soundtrack. And then, as Joel said, once you hit like certain line limits, it speeds up if the music speeds up, and slows down if the whole thing.
So like one of my favorite, like, so it becomes like, okay, I've got to also manage Tetris, but then I'm also managing the level change as well. Like, imagine in the background, do you remember like the visualizer that came with the Xbox 360 when you would play music on it? It's like that in the background, but it's playing into how fast things are going. So one of my favorites is it's set on a mountain. So the entire background is basically black at the start, and the Tetraminos are all snow themed. And as you're putting them down, it's the sound of footprints in snow. And then it starts to speed up, and then suddenly it explodes, and you're at the peak of the mountain, and the game suddenly is like full on level 12 speed of Tetris, and oh my god, what the fuck's going on? But there is, if you press one of the triggers, there is it slows everything down so that you can pull off like some combos that you wouldn't usually be able to.
So instead of it's weird. I'm trying to think how you explain it, because it's like the blocks don't move off the bottom of the screen when you.
No, so it builds all. So it basically, if you complete a line while in this like slowdown mode, it completes them, and then it moves them to the bottom of the board for you to then. And then once the mode finishes, it clears them all for you.
Feels really good.
I just really love Tetris. Like, I remember
it's the best Tetris game I've ever played. Yeah,
really.
It is the best way to not only play Tetris, but it's like it is nice to have two really good Tetris games at the moment. Because there's Tetris Effect, and whatever Tetris Effect Connected, which has all its beautiful looks and how it manages all the different levels and stuff like that. But on the other end of stuff, you've got the Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yeah.
So if you want like actual, like, Tetris Effect Connected has multiplayer in it, but I don't think it's particularly great.
So I've just played the PS4 one, which isn't the connected version, doesn't have multiplayer.
The connected version it's fine. It's Tetris with multiplayer, but
so I have to leave the room briefly. Is this the game that you said gave you an emotional response to Tetris.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I only skimmed that conversation. I'm going to be honest. I thought you were talking about Death Stranding.
No.
I thought the Tetris element was just the backpack stacking. So it's given me a whole different outlook. Now I realize we're actually talking about Tetris.
Yeah, I love Tetris. Like when I first bought myself a PS4 specifically to play Horizon, because I've never owned a console besides like a Nintendo handheld console. So the PS4 was my first console, and well, because everything else was my brother's that I played. And I remember buying it specifically for Horizon and spent the first like 4 hours playing Tricky Towers, which was like a 99p. I love Tricky Towers. And then I also played what's the Nintendo Tetris one on the Switch?
99?
Yeah, because I had to play that one because you know how like if you get a certain amount of points, you get whatever song is like out, and I had to do it to get the Fire Emblem theme, so that whenever you play Tetris, it's like and honestly, that's emotional. That's an emotional response I've had to Tetris. So yeah, I'm intrigued.
This is more like like you're watching something and then suddenly it's the music's really nice. Oh, right, okay, they're telling me something here while I'm playing Tetris, I guess, because I guess like, hey, Tetris Worldwide is beloved and we're all in it together, which also plays into some of the alternate modes that you can play. So at the minute there is a Tetris ritual going on by playing different modes. They're solo modes, but by playing different modes like clear this many lines, clear this this sort of stuff, you all the players in the world pool their points together, and at the end, like, we'll get, I don't know, a reward. I don't know what. Something. But it is from the same guy who made Rez.
Oh, is it? That makes a lot of sense.
And Child of Eden, and more importantly, Lumines. Which was used Tetraminos in a way. It used the square Tetraminos style. So if you really like Tetris, I highly recommend Lumines, because it's that same like style with like high, with music and stuff, high impact music, and then but different rules and stuff. But I really
PSP or something.
It was on PSP, but it had a HD re-release on PC and the modern consoles. Cool. It's also on Switch, so it's kind of the perfect Switch game because you can play a few rounds and then turn it off and come back to it whenever, and it's kind of small.
Cool. You said that Tetris Effect is on Game Pass. Ollie, you have Game Pass, right?
I certainly do.
I know what I'm going to do. Well, actually, Gateway. I say that, but we use Game Pass on the laptop, which, as you'll remember earlier, I don't get to use at the moment because he's in
Skyrim machine.
He's in the Skyrim machine.
Skyrim's not on Game Pass. You can install it on yours.
How demanding is this game?
I'm not sure. I'm managing to play it at 4K 60
on the Can It Run Ooblets scale.
Yes, on the Can It Run Ooblets. I can run Ooblets perfectly. So if it's less demanding than Ooblets,
I don't know. Well, log in and give it a go. It's only 3.5. It's only 3.5 gigabytes big. So
I'm becoming my own woman, controlling my own games.
So if it runs like shit, at least you've not wasted.
Yeah, exactly. You're not
time. And then so I've been on a big grasshopper manufactured kick, a Suda kick. So last week, the last couple of weeks, I spoke about No More Heroes 1.
Yep.
So that's finished. Moved on to No More Heroes 2. Finished that. And I finished Travis Strikes Again, which is the sort of side story. If it was a older title, older generation, it would be No More Heroes Strikes, No More Heroes Gaiden or something.
Yeah.
So No More Heroes 2 is a better game to play, but is a worse experience as a whole. It lacks any of like this, any of the social commentary stuff that's in the first one. The nice things about it, like they've changed how the game plays, but it also has its detriments. So like every boss in the first game and in Travis Strikes Again is memorable because they each have their own introductions. There's only a small selection of them. So like in the first one, when you start like a boss, it will come up with like their name, and it's the Mac Whisper text to speech sound effect that I found out, and it says their name, so it's like death metal and stuff like that. It introduces them, it focuses on them. The second one doesn't have any of that. It just sort of throws you into each fight. You don't even have to grind any money or do any of the mini games. Doing the gym stuff has no real bearing as far as I can tell. I don't know. Like No More Heroes 2, it's a faster game. I managed to beat it a lot quicker than I did the first one.
Yeah.
The Switch version is great because now it's at 60 frames a second. The Wii version was stuck at 30. But like the first game's bosses had each, you had to learn them as you went through, like, and they had invincibility frames and they did cool stuff and they had cool intros, whereas this is like, here's this boss where you are hyped up to be this supernatural thing, and it turns out it's just a dude with a flamethrower that does no supernatural stuff because I killed him in 30 seconds.
Just wail on a bit.
Yeah, because they've taken all the invincibility frames out, which I guess some people will enjoy, but like, there's no tactics. Like most of the bosses was just headbutt against them until they fall over.
That's true.
And especially that fucking last boss. Oh my god. I have never been so angry at a spike in difficulty since maybe Metal Gear Solid 5.
Mel Gibson Solid 5.
Gibson Solid 5.
Yeah.
The jump in difficulty between, so like the first phase of the fight doesn't tell you that you have to that you basically have to hit the enemy when they're about to hit you to enter a clash. Doesn't telegraph that at all, so you can be stuck on that. I was stuck on that section for about 15 minutes trying not to die. And then the second phase has will get you into a stun lock, and it is basically like, hey, I hope you can dodge perfectly because otherwise you're fucked. And I would not have beaten that fight if I was not punched into the pizza that gives you full life again.
Punched into the pizza.
Basically, I was running towards the pizza. The guy comes up behind me, punches me, and I just managed to squeaky bum to the pizza and then kill him for the win.
Squeak the pizza up your bum.
Yeah, exactly. Roll it up like
a pizza roll.
No, not like a pizza roll, like a tube, like a tube. Roll up the pizza and just like a crepe, and just shove it right up there. Just get it all the way up there,
that
grease and all.
Like a lovely time.
So yeah, I still recommend No More Heroes 2. I don't recommend No More Heroes 2. It's weird.
Better in some ways, worse in others.
Yeah, like it sort of looks at the lessons and the stuff that was set up in the first game and sort of went, fuck it. Then Travis Strikes Again is a very different game. It is a mostly top-down action game in the style of, say, like Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
Without like the instant kill and stuff like that. It's still got, the No More Heroes caveats of like, but instead of like low and high attacks. It's got just light and heavy swings,
Okay.
a dodge roll, jumps. It plays a little bit more traditionally. But because Travis gets ambushed by the father of the second to last boss in No More Heroes 1,
Okay.
who he killed, who is trying to avenge his daughter. He's called Badman.
Sounds like
He's
he's
a
in Death
base.
Stranding.
Yeah, he's a ex baseball star who is a drunk and a failure, and he tries to kill Travis, and in doing so activates the Death Drive Mark II, a mysterious games console that sucks them both into the games. And they must now go search for the Death Balls, which contain the games.
Death Ball.
And the Death Balls will, guess what, Jacob? They grant a wish.
Okay.
It's straight up like it presents itself as like this massive parody of like games.
Yeah.
You won't be like when it pulls from adventure games, you won't be like doing point and click stuff. It's still like you are going but it goes through like all the different eras. It goes from like there's an asteroid game in there in proper vector style. There is a straight up visual novel that tells the story of the game. So within Travis Strikes Again, there is Travis Strikes Back, which is a classic DOS style green and black visual novel.
Nice, like a
basically
adventure sort of thing, or
yeah, but you're not you're just sort of reading it. You're not like interacting with it. So but that features all the references to like Suda and Grasshopper's previous games. So there is Killer is Dead references, 25th Ward, Silver Case. There's even references to cancelled games that they never got to make. And it just goes, it's fucking wild because it's like, massive spoilers for, well, I say massive spoilers, but it's like, it sets up, so not only does it even reference where Suda came from, which is Fire Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
Like there is a section of the visual novel where he fights one of the villains of the game in Fire Pro Wrestling because Travis is really good at it.
Yeah. I like that.
And then the villain goes like, "Wow, this game's still legendary after all these years," and which is really interesting. But then it sets up a sequel for Shadows of the Damned.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw you briefly message about this.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
So there is a one of the Death Balls that you get contains a game within it where when you load it up, it's actually a prequel sequel thing to Shadows of the Damned, which goes through like some very harsh commentary on how that game was treated during its development.
Right.
Of like, hey, EA fucked this thing up. The publishers just couldn't get so Shadows of the Damned, for those that don't know, was an action game released on the 360. Supposedly had Suda51 directing it, with Shinji Mikami producing it, and the musician from Silent Hill doing the music for it. The only person that actually had any real hand in it to any degree was the musician. The game was not directed by Suda. It's directed by some European dude. The original concept was a survival horror game that you basically was like foreshadowing where horror games would go. So no real ways to attack, a fear of the dark, an evolving town, an RPG sort of thing. And now look at where horror games are now. You don't have any ways to attack. It's all about fear of the unknown. And so, but the game that like Travis Strikes Again, there's a character that just is constantly like, yeah, the publisher didn't get it, so we had to make this instead.
We had to put guns in there.
We had to put guns in it. They just didn't get it. The technology wasn't there. So the the setup for it is that a mysterious character who looks very similar to one of the lead characters from Killer 7 kills Garcia,
Right.
and Johnson, the gun that can turn into the big boner.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah, it's all about dick jokes in Shadows of the Damned. It transforms into 8 Hearts, which is like his true form.
Right.
And he's then the boss of that game. And Travis basically, and then they realize like, oh, Garcia's trapped in hell. And Johnson now needs to go find Garcia. So not only is Travis Strikes Again a setup for No More Heroes 3, but it's also setting up Shadows of the Damned 2.
Weird. Cool though.
Which is really, really cool. Like Travis even says like, hey, get Garcia to wear a shirt underneath his biker jacket because I make this look cool. He looks like a loser. So it's like, it's nice to see like, you know, Suda looking back on his history, looking back on, you know, the entire Grasshopper's history and stuff like that. I would say like watch the game in some capacity.
Right.
Maybe don't actually play it because boy, that game was £30.99 and I don't think it's worth that
I
price.
didn't think it was that much.
Because it comes with all the DLC on PC and stuff like that. Right. So that's like entire like super difficult DLC stuff where if you complete it you get to unlock Bad Girl to play as. One of them includes like Shinobu, who's one of the bosses and main characters from the second game. I don't know, like it's weird. It's a weird thing. I wouldn't recommend playing it, but I would recommend if you are a fan of No More Heroes to actually go see, and a fan of Suda's games to then actually go seek it out. And so off the back of that, I then started Killer 7.
Yeah.
I just saw you rambling about, what the fuck is this game? What's happening? I'm confused. I don't understand. So, yeah.
I like to think that I have like a good understanding of the abstract, and you know, like when an artiste or a director or a game developer does something a bit weird, you know, I like that sort of stuff. This is fucking bizarre. Like I've no idea other than you are part of Killer 7, which is a team of assassins that have to stop a terrorist organization called Heaven's Smile, who have infected all these people and they can't be seen by regular humans. So you have to scan for them.
You've already lost me.
They explode when they come into contact with you. So the game is not a first-person shooter, and it's not an adventure game. It's not a puzzle game. It's an on-rail, but it's got like on-rails action, so you can only go in like 2 directions basically, and then you come to a juncture. You choose which way you want to go, and so like the main control. If you have a controller, for instance. So if I'm using like the GameCube, because it came out originally on GameCube, so I'm using that as frame of reference. A is to walk forward, B turns you backwards, and then A then carries on walking in that direction, basically.
Weird.
There's battle mode, so then you go into a first-person perspective as long as you hold down the button. It's infinite ammo. It becomes basically like a shooting gallery sort of thing where you have to just sort of like manage which enemy you're going to take out first. There's puzzles and stuff like that, like classic Capcom survival horror puzzles of like, hey, light these candles in the right direction after you've got this ring that can make things on fire. And if you fuck it up, there's an air conditioner next to you to blow the candles out, sort of thing. But then, so I have like prior knowledge of the game, and I was like, oh, right, okay, who's this old dude? And it turns out like you are playing as this dude called Harmon Smith, who has the innate ability to change his form based on 7 different personalities, which is the Killer 7. So you're basically playing as this old, crippled man who's basically brain dead, who can change his personalities, and in doing so changes his form between 7 different people, I guess.
The whole team, kind of.
Yes, and each one has their own, like, each one plays differently. So there's one with a sniper rifle, like Harmon has this big sniper rifle, so you'll only play as him during specific sections. There's Dan Smith, who has just a standard Magnum. There's Coyote Smith, who can pick locks. There's a lady, I can't remember her name, but she has like a little gun with a sniper rifle, sniper scope on it.
I see, yeah.
There's one called Kevin Smith, which I was like,
Actual
I guess. Actual Kevin Smith.
Is it immortal?
I don't know, that game is weird. It plays very poorly on PC, I have to tell you. Like outside of like, so on mouse and keyboard, like aiming and stuff like that is trivial at this point.
Yeah.
It's more of like the movement and navigating stuff
Was designed for GameCube in mind.
Designed for GameCube in mind, but like the PC doesn't detect whether you've got a controller or keyboard, so it will not change. Like during the tutorial, like it will not tell you, it'll just keep coming up like big Xbox buttons of like press A to go forward, and I'm like, I don't have a fucking Xbox controller connected. It just turns out they just didn't put the leg room, the work, they didn't put the legwork in to do the to put like key bindings on the screen as well. I will keep plugging away at it, but it is apparently a very long game the first time you play it, and boy, is it a lot. It's a lot. The heaven smiles, just you are alerted to their presence via a laugh.
Okay.
And then you have to scan the room, and you collect blood from them, and then you upgrade them through a TV.
Of course.
You give the blood to a dude through a TV, and he makes serum out of the blood, and then you upgrade the guys through that. And there's certain rooms that you can go into with the TV where the one of the characters will have a maid outfit on, which means you can save.
But they gotta have the maid outfit.
There's anime sections. There's
a lot going on.
There's a lot going on in this game, and hopefully at some point I'll be able to like, red string posters and stuff like that, like figure out, because there's also like an additional like entire book that came out after it to explain what goes on in the game. And apparently it explains nothing and is actually contradictory to the events of the game itself.
Just makes things worse.
Yeah, exactly. Like every video essay and video review that goes on about this game will always touch on like, the story's incomprehensible. Like it just is. There are certain points that you can understand. I'm in, despite everything, like, when I've not enjoyed a game because I'll just turn it off and that's it.
Yeah.
Like I won't even get past the first hour or so. I still put 107 minutes into the game and finished the first level, despite wrestling with the keyboard and it's not the most, like, when you're actually playing it, it's not the most intense thing in the world, but it's certainly different. For a game that came out in 2005, when you look at everything that was coming out around that time, especially like first person shooter wise and adventure game wise, and this game came out is part of the Capcom 5, which was Killer 7, Resident Evil 4, Dead Phoenix, which got cancelled, Piano 3, and Beautiful Joe. So when you look at what it came out alongside, Resident Evil 4 revolutionized the entire fucking third-person shooting industry as a whole.
Mm.
And then there's this weird fucking thing
alongside it.
alongside it. Beautiful Joe put Hideki Kamiya back in the limelight of like, yeah, this dude can fucking make a fucking action game. The Beautiful Joe is part and parcel of the reason why we have Bayonetta and stuff. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. But Travis Strikes Again and Travis Strikes Again, and also like No More Heroes 2, and also Killer 7, as a matter of fact. Speaking of Suda as a whole, because Killer 7 has a guy called Masked Smith, who is a Mexican luchador who headbutts bullets and has 2 grenade launchers and a cape.
Which game is this?
Killer 7.
Okay.
One of the playable characters, in fact.
Wow.
Suda is obsessed with wrestling as a whole. So speaking of wrestling, boy, did WWE want to fucking make a bed and shit in it.
Are we moving into the news, are we?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
What?
I still haven't talked about what I'm playing.
She got to talk about Fire Emblem and that was about it.
Oh, I thought you were done.
No.
What about the
I thought that was it.
I've been playing the new Sims.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Do tell.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint you, but I've been playing Sims. I've been putting more hours into Sims. I'm in the good 1200s now.
I was just about to wake up from my sickness nap to talk about wrestling. And you've cut me off with Sims.
I just thought we were getting round to me, saving the best till last, but apparently
No, I thought that was it. I thought you were done.
Talk about your Sims.
Doesn't work. It does a bit work. Obviously, every time they make a new pack, they release an update and a patch right before the release, and that usually breaks stuff as well. Classic EA. So they fixed a load of bugs and stuff that we were all complaining about, like if your Sims were trying to eat leftovers, they would never stop. The leftovers just never ran out. Like, they'd eat a normal meal, but if you asked them to get leftovers from the fridge, they would just never stop eating.
It's very real. I that.
Yeah, so they fixed stuff. To be fair, like, I was really, 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 really excited about this because it's a new expansion pack, which obviously with the Sims ones, they break it down into like 3 different sizes of like DLC packs. You've got expansion packs, which are like the big $34.99 boys with like new world, loads of new functions, like the big fellas. And then you've got game packs, which is like middle of the road, still brings a fair bit. And then you've got stuff packs, which are just like £8 filler crap.
Stuff.
Yeah. So this one was Snowy Escape, which adds a new world, Mount Komorebi, and it's like a mountainous Japanese-y area.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember you speaking about this a few weeks ago.
Yeah, when it got announced. So you can go skiing and snowboarding and sledding and mountain climbing, and it's actually a very picturesque world. It's really, really pretty. They actually added a lot of really deep game stuff that actually gives the game a bit more depth, because obviously I think I said last time that people's main complaint about Sims 4 is that it's not very deep compared to like Sims 3.
Yeah.
So they added sentiments, which basically, instead of like people having the same relationship level with each other, they can actually have different sentiments about each other if they spend time together. So
nice.
I've only played a bit yesterday, but like, for example, my Sim, she built a snowman with a guy, and they both felt like really warm and fuzzy feelings toward each other.
They shared that moment.
Because and so like they can share, like someone might tell a joke, like someone might tell like a really dirty joke and be like, oh, they have a really good sentiment about joking with the Sim, but the Sim who they joked with might have a really negative sentiment because they're like, what a disgusting joke. So it's really cool that they've added that. They've also added lifestyles, which basically, like, if your Sims like pick up habits and do things a lot, or do like live a certain way, they start like picking up lifestyles. For example, if your Sims eat a load of junk food, they will start like they'll become like a junk food like fanatic where they will only want to eat junk food, and they can become more unhealthy. Or like if your Sims spend a lot of time at like being lazy or a lot of time on their home lot, they will become like homebodies and stuff, where they'll feel like more uncomfortable when they go to other lots or stuff like that. So it just adds a bigger level of depth, I think. Another thing that everyone, especially the builders of the Sims community, everyone is absolutely buzzing off their tits because we finally have platforms. So we have different heights for building floors. Obviously they brought that in specifically for making like Japanese builds and stuff, where you can like have like a slightly lowered maybe bit where your shoes come off. You can now take your shoes off, and you can have like a shoes on, shoes off rule.
That's a level of detail I didn't expect The Sims to ever reach, I'll be honest.
Yeah, so now you can click on the shoe rack in your house and you can set the shoe rule for that particular house, like shoes off, slippers, or shoes are fine. And it's really, really cool because they come in and they put their slippers on, and I just love it. And yeah, it's actually, I'm having a lot of fun. I played yesterday, although another complaint is one of the bugs that they have brought that has happened because of this pack is everyone's game is crashing. So like it's not being caused by anything apart from something in the pack. Now everyone's game is spontaneously crashing. Everyone is like panic saving every couple of minutes because there is nothing worse than your game. It's only happened to me once. I lost about a day, but I was mad, and they released a statement saying that they were going to fix it in about a week.
Sick.
So we've got to wait till the week commencing 20th of November for them to hopefully patch it. So that is leaving a bit of a sour taste for a lot of people. But putting my penny positive hat on, I'm pretty happy.
When it works, it's good.
A week in considering like, hey, they've got to probably go through a shit ton of code.
Yeah, find it.
And also with COVID going on, like a week, giving a week estimate is not too bad.
No, so
within the current,
not too
situation.
bad. I think that it would probably be longer if it wasn't such a big bug. Like the other bugs have been going on for months. Like one really annoying thing is I had a sim that I was playing where she was in uni, but I wanted her to still be able to make some money without having to like commit to a job at the same time as doing her university course. So one of the packs a while ago introduced freelancing, so you can actually freelance if you like. You can be like a freelance journalist, editor, programmer, artist, which is really, really cool because it means that you don't have to do it unless you just have a bit of spare time. Your sim can pick up a commission. And there was actually a bug that prevented you from ever submitting, like finishing the commission. So you would give the art to the person and the job would just remain undone. So then it would get to the deadline and your Sims would get like a negative review for not finishing it, even though they did. And it was really, really frustrating. But they fixed that like 4 months down the line. But now, so I suppose it isn't too bad that they're fixing it within a week. But I think the only reason is because it's such a bad bug that everyone's game is just suddenly crashing. But yeah, I'm very happy. I'm having a lot of fun. I actually wanted to do a mini let's play on the Snowy Escape pack, which I probably still will do. But as Joel will understand, I'm having some problems with getting Shadowplay to record, so that's been postponed slightly. But I will be making us on the beans.
Oh, yeah.
I will be making the beans on Sims. So everyone should be frightened because I downloaded something specifically in mind. A Hawaiian shirt. And I downloaded some strange facial hair because I don't know if anyone saw my tweet, but Ollie emerged from the bathroom the other day having shaved everything but his mustache.
I do that on the reg. I just walk out and I'm like, hey, how'd you like it?
And his reasoning was, you said that you fancied Ron Swanson, so now I have a mustache. So yeah, he pulls it off. I'm not gonna
you didn't make him get rid of it?
No, I'm not gonna control his facial hair. Yeah, he's got it right now.
Oh no, I walk out, I'm like, hey babe, look at this, and she's like, get back in that fucking bathroom.
I mean,
get rid of that.
You've known Ollie longer than me. Do you really think, like, he is 100%. If I told him not to do something or told him to do something, it will only have the opposite effect.
I feel like if you put your foot down about it,
He probably wouldn't.
Oh, I look absolute straight white trash.
He looks like he not belongs in a trailer park, honestly. But I love him, and
yeah.
whatever. I'm not going to control his facial hair because let's face it, sometimes I don't want to shave my legs. So sometimes he will.
Fair trade.
I'm not going to judge his hair.
She gets prickly.
Hey. I don't complain about your pedo stash. Don't complain about my prickly legs.
You're gonna find Ollie on the next season of Tiger King. This is what I'm imagining right now.
The Melvin King. Speaking of prickly situations,
There we go. I'll allow the tangent now.
Now I'm awake.
You're awake. Well, the WWE, the WW, the Worldwide Wrestling Entertainment.
Thereabouts.
The wrestling.
Thereabouts. The wrestling. They're doing something that they're picking a fight that I don't think this time they will win. Considering that so sometime on Friday, WWE released a wrestler by the name of Zelina Vega, who is well known within the community for having an online presence, Twitch streams, and
she's also a big personality on Up Up Down Down as well.
Yep, big personality there. Which Up Up Down Down's now a WWE property, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah. If it wasn't already, it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Some time, yeah.
So Zelina Vega, very in touch with the nerd community, as it were, cosplayers as well, etc.
Yeah.
They released her very abruptly,
seemingly out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, you take a look at kind of her positioning on the actual wrestling show itself, and she was just coming out of a main title program, so it was like it's probably nothing to do with that. So what else could it possibly be?
And she was doing the they were doing the Undertaker photo shoots where everyone dressed up as the Undertaker. Literally. And she was involved in those like a day before.
And I mean, like just a few hours before all this went down, she posted a tweet of her dressed up as the Undertaker. So clearly this was a very fast decision on WWE's part. So the way people have been positioning it is that Zelina Vega tweeted that she supports unionization, which has been a very big contested issue within the wrestling world since
for decades. Forever.
Yeah,
literally since Hulk Hogan was like, yeah, it doesn't work for me though, brother.
Snitched on Jackie Ventura.
Yeah.
So it's actually all Hulk Hogan's fault this is still going on today.
Just one more thing we can blame on Hulk Hogan.
Cunt Hogan, more like. So Zelina Vega tweeted is obviously a master of optics and understands social media and how a website works. Because before WWE could put out the press release that the Future Endeavors press release, as they are wont to do,
like few lines that they put on their website.
She tweeted, "I support unionization," and then 10 minutes later, WWE posted their
She's
thing.
Been fired.
What happened?
This clearly wasn't an immediate response to the tweet.
No. This was Zelina Vega's immediate response to being sacked for refusing to. Timing. Yeah, this is Zelina Vega understanding social media better than the multi-billion-dollar corporation, which has just sacked off a load of people during their most profitable year of all time.
It is hilarious how they keep trying to justify that, isn't it?
Oh, it's
they
fucking
just had another round. They just got rid of Tony Chemmel.
Yeah, and some backstage people.
Yeah, they basically wiped the live events division.
Yeah, because they basically told wrestlers and staff, like, hey, don't expect live events to come back even after
things are okay again.
Yeah, house shows ain't a moneymaker anymore.
No, selling t-shirts online is much easier, it turns out. So WWE have been basically at odds with their independent contractors, which is what they are. They are not employees. So we spoke about this a couple weeks ago, and then a few weeks before that, that they were taking control of their Twitch channels. They were no longer allowed to use online platforms like Cameo and stuff like that to promote themselves. Basically, it's they weren't allowed to use their WWE personalities and names. So even people like AJ Styles, who owns the AJ Styles brand, presumably because he's used it,
wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Can no longer host his Twitch streams without WWE's permission, which is WWE want that cash, yo. They want that Twitch money, which is not how Twitch works at all. Because okay, where do the donations and the super bits and the whatever go? Like, where does this shit go?
Vince McMahon sitting there collecting subs.
Yeah. Thanks, Vince McMahon, for subbing for 15 months.
Yeah.
So
$1 million
Zelina
man
Vega
coming in, throwing gift subs about the place.
Zelina Vega, in response to this, decided to open an OnlyFans account for cosplay photos.
I guess.
Basically,
okay.
hey,
why not?
Like, OnlyFans isn't just for porn. It is a platform for content creators to make money from, it's basically competition for Patreon, essentially.
But it's mostly for porn.
But they have a much more lax policy on porn, which probably will change in the coming year, considering how things have gone recently for them. How do I put this? There's basically internally, it probably came up and was a big red flag, and she was sacked. And then she tweeted, "I support unionization."
Yeah, because from what I understand, a bit earlier on, like earlier in the week or maybe the week beforehand, there was a meeting that was had about this kind of thing with various wrestlers who are the kind of more prominent Twitch streamers. Kind of met with Vince McMahon to discuss this. And I suppose we can kind of infer what the result of that was.
That was the end of October that happened, and then nothing happened. So, oh well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everything has to shut down, basically, on their end. The only person that I assume will continue to stream will be Austin Creed.
Yeah, Woodsman.
It's
especially weird for some people because... people like Tyler Breeze, for instance, he's got his Twitch channel that he shares. He shares it with Baron Corbin and Sean Spears from AEW.
Yeah, so it's like, will Sean Spears be able to continue whatever that? Like, also, like, will what's he called? In NXT, it's tag teaming with Drake Maverick.
Killian Dane.
Killian Dane has his own podcast.
I've not even heard
it. With a few of the NXT boys.
No, I do know what you're talking about, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, will he be able to continue that?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not
even
worth
though that was bringing,
with.
and even though that's not bringing in any cash.
It's weird.
It's a battle I hope WWE lose.
Yeah.
On this front. Because the more this stuff keeps happening, the more it starts to put big targets on their back, and I hope someone actually manages to do something about it.
Put them to task for it.
Yeah, the Screen Actors Guild actually got in touch with Zelina Vega as well, which kind of is where wrestlers should be unionizing.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's the best place for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you go on the grounds that it's a performance art.
Yeah,
then
it's a performance art and it's stunt work and etc. Like, they're on TV. They're all really bad actors, but they're acting.
I am on a TV show playing a wrestler.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
And I do my own stunts.
So it still blows my mind that wrestling is usually largely on nothing but sport channels. I'm like, no one knows it's a sport anymore. Well, no one thinks it's a sport anymore.
No, like it's bizarre.
Yeah.
Wrestling as a whole
It's a
is
grey
bizarre.
area.
WWE, it's a very big grey area, and you know, you're going through subreddits of like, oh, they should all sign on to AEW, and it's like AEW also doesn't allow unions. The only difference is that they allow these wrestlers to do their own thing. They allow wrestlers to do their own thing whenever they want,
as long as Cody can get in on it at some point.
Oh yeah, Cody's got to get in on it. He's got to have his big entrance. He's got to.
Hello, Miro. Is this your Twitch stream? I'm Cody. I'm taking over. Is this the AEW video game stream? Hi, I'm Cody. I made the video game.
I am video games.
I
was in Arrow.
My distaste for Cody Rhodes has come so full circle that I'm fully aware that it's the most irrational kind of thing. Where it started off as like, I don't like Cody because of this, and this reason. Now it's just like anything. I'm like, oh, I bet Cody on his Spotify playlist has a load of music I don't like. Bloody Cody. He sounds like a very nice guy in real life, but yeah.
With his shitty tattoo.
I have not watched a lot of AEW, and I watched the pay-per-view and then watched the Dynamite after, and had the realization that
this is every
Cody
week.
has this giant fucking entrance with the
absolute comical amount of pyro.
Yeah, like
he's not getting like blown into the ring by his fireworks.
Just a pay-per-view entrance. This is his weekly shtick.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that sees this. And
I was gobsmacked.
Sorry to tangent onto the wrestling, but I'm just like, this is what I was saying a few weeks ago, where I was like, people keep justifying it, being like, oh yeah, well, it's like slow heel tendencies. I'm like, he's been doing this for a year. Actually,
he's been doing this since the start of AEW, when he fucking came out and smashed the throne with the sledgehammer, and it was just like, oh my god, it's just
Does
like
anyone
Cody
else
posted.
think Triple H buries people, guys? I'm gonna break his chair.
And then in every single interview, he's like, WWE are actually a really good company, actually, because you know they still pay me royalties for whatever. You know,
they love my dad.
Your last name back.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah,
just okay.
Yeah. So like AEW is a bit different in like there's a lot more wiggle room to do whatever you want. And then so Paige actually commented on this because she's adamant to not give up her Twitch stream.
She's a bit,
because it's
obviously she's a bit more removed from it, isn't she? Because she's not like an active performer on TV, but I suppose she still has some kind of contract with them.
I think she's basically still under a performer's contracts at this point.
Like an ambassador or something, like Kairi Sane is.
But like WWE won't do the same to her that they did to Vega, because like at the end of the day, WWE need Paige more than she needs them at this point in time.
She's one of the bigger Twitch followings that the ex-wrestlers have, or the wrestlers have, should I say.
Yeah, she's, it's an interesting time, and it's a fight that I think this will be the one fight that Vince McMahon eventually loses. And if he does win it, it will probably alienate a lot of his independent contractors from the business. Yeah. I will not be surprised if people like AJ Styles just say, do you know what? I'm out. Like,
I mean, he's said he's probably going to be done within the next few years anyway, and then he'll be set up.
Yeah, and like then there's rumors like Aleister Black is asking to go back to NXT.
I mean, they just sacked his wife.
So. I wouldn't be surprised if he just fucked off entirely. Yeah, there's places out there that are such a far better fit for him, in my opinion.
Like AEW, for instance.
Or New Japan. I think he'd be great in New Japan.
I was seeing some discussion, people like, does he really fit within New Japan? And I was just like, have you seen his British matches where he just fucking clobbers people?
Yeah.
I guess the issue people have is obviously they can't just run the indies for a bit before they settle on somewhere, because the indies ain't happening.
The indies ain't happening. The indies are probably going to be dead for at least another year. I like as much as Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson keep having events without masks and social distancing for their shitty pay-per-views, and Chris Jericho will continually fly to Las Vegas to do shows and stuff. What was that about? AEW flew the Inner Circle out to Las Vegas during a pandemic.
It's part of the storyline going on between MJF and Jericho and the Inner Circle right now, in that MJF's basically trying to ingratiate himself to the Inner Circle now. He's into it. So he was like, haha, he got us all tickets to fly to Vegas. And people were like, okay, well, maybe they'll just come out next week and be like, yeah, we had a great time in Vegas. But it's like, no, they're actually shooting over there. They all flew them out to Vegas.
That's fucking insane, considering that Vegas has a massive spike in cases.
Jericho doesn't care, does he? You saw his concert.
Jericho doesn't give a fuck anyway.
I love him, but he's a dummy.
And then it came out that he donated.
That was a polite way of putting it.
Yes, I kind of censored myself halfway through.
Yeah, did you see that Jericho might have broken donation laws to do with donating to a political party because he donated way too much? Also listed himself as working for under AEW and not just as Chris Jericho, which is weird. But speaking of AEW doing weird shit,
yes, this was a long tangent.
We got there.
Yeah, we got there. They announced 3 games. I guess
they kind of got leaked earlier in the day because the website went up. As to what these kind of games were, but obviously there wasn't
anything
rumored
for a long time.
Yeah, at the very least, the first 2 were, because when you're a wrestling company that's on a certain scale, you're probably going to make a wrestling game at some point. And then the general manager thing was rumored for a long time. The casino one, I didn't see any discussion about until the day of.
So I don't know is that an actual betting casino game?
Don't
because
know.
There was a very long trailer for it, a very cool looking trailer, and
will it involve actual gambling?
Is it actual gambling for a company that's audience is primarily younger people?
Teens? Yeah. To my knowledge, it's not, but I'll admit I've not read up on it very much because it doesn't really interest me. The other 2 games I'm interested in, but I could give less of a shit about Vegas AEW Simulator.
Yeah, I'm more interested in the General Manager mobile game because Aubrey Edwards, the referee,
she's worked in mobile games,
is an ex-mobile game producer. So there's some actual chops there.
Yeah,
and Ukes are involved with the full 3D
actual wrestling game. Yeah,
the actual wrestling game, and they've brought back
Gator-san.
Gator-san, who worked on No Mercy.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Very cool. I would also like to see maybe Suda 51 bring his Fire Pro storytelling chops. Because Ollie, do you know about the Fire Pro game that Suda wrote? The first game that he ever wrote?
I do not.
That it throughout the course of the game, the Ric Flair clone kills your coach and tag team partner. Your girlfriend dumps you. You reach the pinnacle of your career and then commit suicide.
Oh,
wow.
That's how the game ends, is a gunshot behind closed doors on a SNES.
Lord.
So that's why they brought Suda back for that Fire Pro new Fire Pro game to do a scenario. Yeah, he wrote a DLC scenario that's a sequel to Fire Pro Wrestling Super or whatever it was called.
Wow.
So yeah, I would love to see Suda come back for an AEW game or a WWE game.
It sounds like Suda 51 would be very well suited to writing for a Lucha Underground video game. Based on that what you've just described, the crazy shit that goes on. in
Yeah,
Return of
you
the-
should go. You should go look at that Fire Pro game because there is straight up allegories for like not allegories, like clones of Ric Flair, Ultimate Warrior,
Mm.
and the Road Warriors.
Wow.
There's like as much as that game is embedded within Japan and stuff like that. Like it never got a translation over here.
Mm.
Like it's all American wrestlers in it
Well,
because
yeah, I mean,
Suda prefers American wrestling to
the Road Warriors and Ric Flair had a pretty good run in Japan. I don't think Ultimate Warrior did, but
No, but so back on like these
Yes.
AEW games, they showed a very short trailer for the 3D.
yeah, for Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, and Hikaru Shida all
And
involved.
intergender wrestling,
Yeah, because
which has not been a thing since that GameCube game. The WrestleMania GameCube game, you could have Stephanie. I was putting Stephanie McMahon versus Big Show to see what would happen.
yeah, I think as far back as like SmackDown versus Raw, like 2006 and 7, it was a thing. Specifically because I remember there was in the challenge mode, like the final challenge you had to do, which was supposed to be the hardest one of all of them, was you had to play as Mickey James, the shortest character in the game, and beat the Great Khali. That was a genuine challenge in one of the games. So yeah,
One chop and she's dead.
It's definitely not been a thing for a long time. I suppose if it's going to be like an arcadey kind of video game, like they would have if they were
That's
bringing back
yeah,
Gator-san.
certainly how it looked.
Yeah,
Particularly with like the graphic
the
style.
proportions.
It was more Battlegrounds than 2K.
Yeah,
Which I don't mind, because the problem I have with a lot of wrestling games, and predominantly the WWE games, is that they try and act as if it's a realistic thing
and they're so slow.
when they're so slow, and like that they try to make it an actual sport, and it's just like, no, just let me do drop kicks,
Do the fun things.
and do the fun things. Like, and so if this game leans heavily into that, then
Yeah, like I said, I think they just want to model it as close to the kind of No Mercy AKI style of games that people have been kind of clamoring for the longest time. A lot of people were kind of moaning about the graphical stylings of it. To that, I'm just like, it's alpha footage. What do you want?
yeah, it's barely in development. Like they will either clean it up, and if they don't clean it up, then it's probably going to play as you expect.
Yeah.
It probably, there's a reason sometimes a reason why these games look like that. Like, I don't want a hyper realistic looking Chris Jericho.
Please no.
And I don't expect these games to be released every year like they are for 2K.
No.
Because I'm not, outside of Ukes and AEW games, like, I don't know how much money is floating around for this side of the business.
True.
Like, possibly why there's a casino game, which is
That's how they're going to recoup the costs.
I can't get over that the casino game had a bigger,
And a live action trailer.
had a full live action trailer compared to the big thing.
Especially
And that was
Presumably
like,
that's a lot further into development.
Yeah. Well, you'd think they'd have more gameplay to show then. That's what I was kind of going to just say. I'm like, you'd have thought that they'd have shown gameplay over live action stuff if it's the one that's going to be coming out the soonest, which it apparently is.
yeah. Oh, here we go. It will launch. I found their press release.
Hey.
Developed by Kama Games, one of the fastest growing independent operators in the world. Okay, if they're using operator, it is totally a gambling, like, you are going to put real life money into this.
Well,
This is a actual casino game with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega's face on it.
well, if there's any way they're going to get me to gamble.
Slots, blackjack, poker, and roulette, along with AEW music, sounds, videos, wrestler virtual avatars, gift packs, and more.
I want to play blackjack with Luchasaurus.
Crystallized Games is working on the other thing.
The general manager.
Yes.
Which also, I'm pretty excited for, because obviously people have been wanting GM mode style games, or at least a kind of semi-mainstream GM style game for a long time, because there are a few out there, but they're definitely not accessible, is the problem I've had. Even this past year, I've been looking into stuff like Journey of Wrestling, and there's just no tutorial for it, and there's so much shit that you can do in it that I'm like, literally don't even know where to start. So if they make an accessible, game with all this AEW licensed stuff in it, I think it's going to do pretty well.
Yeah, the only game that I can see that Crystallized Games actually have is a free-to-play game released in 2018 that hit early access, is still in early access. The last review for it was on the 20th of January, which just says yes.
Submitted by Daniel Bryan.
So yeah, I guess they're just a really small studio that they picked up because, hey, we can do it on the cheap.
Keep an eye on it.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. I know I have a very big distaste for wrestling games as a whole because they're mostly all bad.
Especially recently.
I think since I've known you guys, they've all been fairly terrible.
Yeah, I've certainly turned off the annual buying of them.
2K19 was okay, and obviously I can still make an argument for Fire Pro Wrestling World. That's a good game, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't know when the last time I bought a WWE game was. I can remember that Jinder Mahal was one of the default champions at the time.
Oof.
That would be 2017, 2016?
It's probably 2K17.
Yeah, I would imagine it was 17.
Yeah, so they also in ties in with this is like AEW have set up AEW Games, which is their banner for all this sort of stuff. So
you can buy a t-shirt.
Buy a t-shirt. They spent a long time talking about that t-shirt.
They really did.
They spent a long time talking about a lot of stuff and doing a lot of gimmicks. And
the presentation itself was quite funny. I guess that is worth mentioning.
Yes.
Everyone is Steve Jobs.
Yeah, Steve Jobs cosplay.
Which was hilarious, especially when Aubrey Edwards came in and ripped off her shirt to reveal that she was also a Steve Jobs cosplayer.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious.
Good.
She's got good chops.
She's
like
really
presenting chops.
Seems like
and
a very
stuff
cool
like
person.
that.
Yeah, because she hosts their podcast alongside Shivani.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I've not listened to
interviewing
that yet.
all they do like weekly wrestler interviews. Tony Schiavone and her, and yeah, she's really funny. I like her.
And then speaking of new releases, a couple things came out in the last week or so. Nintendo released that Game & Watch.
Oh yeah,
commemorative thing.
How is that, Joel?
It's back in the box and ready to be shipped back to Amazon.
I watched a video this morning that people have been able to hack them. Apparently, the first time it was hacked was the day before it came out. I guess someone got it early. But
in what capacity are people being able to do with it? This is what I'm curious, because it is a very light, small device with 4 or 5 things on it. So I don't know how much memory's actually on it.
Yeah.
To hold, like, okay, NES games and stuff are tiny, but they, like, I don't know how powerful it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a clock and it's got save states.
All I saw was that they managed to load a custom NES ROM on it. So it'll just be like when people hacked the PlayStation Classic, for instance, to add more games onto it. I guess you could just change out what games you can play on it.
Like, there's an entire community around the mini Super Nintendo and Nintendo, like, to do. But I'm at a point where that sort of stuff, like, no longer entices me. Like, that mini Super Nintendo has sat in a drawer and gathered dust.
Same.
And the most I've used of it is the 2 SNES controllers.
Oh, for other stuff.
Yeah, which I use on PC. I barely use them on my Switch because I prefer using the Joy-Cons. Or I have my PS4 controller connected there. It's a nice device. It's a nice trinket.
Yes.
It is not £50 worth of, like, it is the first device where I, like, the first gaming thing in a long time where I've gone, this isn't worth the money at all.
I'll be interested to pick one up and maybe tinker with it when it's like a fifth of the price, when everyone realizes that their value is not.
Either Nintendo have produced enough of these to facilitate like them lowering in price, or they will soon disappear and become highly collectible items.
I'm not desperate for one.
But no, it's nice. It feels okay. It feels a bit cheap in some respects. Like the buttons feel a bit cheap. But the screen's really nice, which is like the thing about it. And it charges by USB-C. So I don't know. Like, you know, like the 4 things on it are Super Mario Bros, Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, and 2 variations of Ball.
And Skyrim.
There's a clock on it as well.
Yes, the watch of the Game & Watch, so to speak.
Yeah, like it's just like this is pointless. I'm paying a very small fee to Nintendo every 6 months for Nintendo Online.
Yeah,
like to access these games already. Like this literally does not matter
in a portable sense, in a much nicer kind of format. Yeah,
like I'm not hankering to play Super Mario Bros on a unique device at any time soon. Anyway,
I don't think Joel's hankering to play Super Mario Bros. 1 at all.
No, neither am I hankering to play Lost Levels.
No, maybe even less though.
On a tiny screen. Like, if people manage to hack it and figure out what to do with it and what's inside, like, that's cool. Like, I'm suspecting it's an Android device, like the mini Super Nintendo.
Yeah. If you ever needed to smuggle a copy of Super Mario Bros. That's instantly playable into prison, then maybe this would be the option. You could just kind of slide it up nature's pocket. But otherwise, what's the point?
If this thing was like £20, I would maybe keep hold of it just for the sake of it. Like the packaging's nice, and you know, but it's junk. It will end up sitting on a shelf or in a drawer, and I will forget about it.
And as you say that, well, as I said in the group chat kind of before, £50. That's like not a small amount of money. That's one whole Miles Morales for me. Which I've just got the Amazon notification. My Miles Morales has been delivered. Apparently, it's downstairs waiting for me now. So I've got a PS5 game, guys. Can't fucking do anything with it. But
tell us how the case smells.
Oh yeah, I could do an unboxing.
The case smell.
It is good.
The case smell is great.
It is good.
Lick the disc.
Does it taste like a Switch cartridge?
Oh, nasty.
I've never actually done that. I don't know what it tastes like.
It's gross.
It's bad.
Just lick your fingers after holding one. It gets on you.
Is it just like a plasticky smell, or is it?
No.
Smell, sorry, taste.
Bitter.
It's
bitter. Death.
Like a grapefruit.
They've embedded the plastic with this foul chemical taste.
It's worse
to prevent
you put on your nails to stop you chewing them.
Oh right, that's what.
It's that kind of taste.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's that kind of taste. It's basically to prevent kids from
Swallowing
and pets.
And pets, but you know, I don't know how successful it would be with both of our dogs.
Yeah, that would not deter the dog.
We have the 2 stupidest dogs in the whole of England, so no offense, JJ and Melvin, but you're just dumb.
They are fucking dumb as shit. Then that other thing that got released this week and immediately bombarded with overwhelmingly negative response reviews on Steam was that 13 remake, the old cel-shaded PS2.
I did not know that even got a remake.
So the remake has been in development for a long time. Like this is like back when we were in uni.
Yeah.
Like there was talk or even an announcement of like 13's getting a remake, and I was like, that's cool. That game was neat at the time. The original Steam version still exists on the store for $2.99 or something ridiculous. This game has been bombarded with so much negativity to the point where it now says overwhelmingly negative on Steam.
Yikes. Why is that?
Frame rate issues, collisions, rendering sound. The controls were bad. The look of the entire game has been changed. So instead of just up-resing everything to a nice 4K, they have completely reworked how that game looks. So it's lost all of its charm.
So
It looks more like Fortnite.
sounds like it's got very few redeeming qualities.
Yeah. To the point where Microids, the developer, have had to put out a statement
Oh dear.
to say, Microids is the publisher. I think Play Magic is the developer. Play Magic is working hard to solve all the game's issues with live monitoring and multiple patches in the coming days and weeks.
Man.
So let me see what these patch notes say. Day 1 patch, already available for Steam, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions. Fixed crash issues, bugs issues surrounding AI and weapons, graphical issues, UI elements, added UI elements.
We're just fixing the whole game, guys.
Known issues to be fixed in incoming patches, technical. There's a list of like levels here where obviously like I'm guessing frame rates are bad and stuff. NPC AI improvement is planned.
Right.
Save system will be improved. The player should be able to load his progression at the load checkpoint and with his weapons saved.
Sounds like it just shouldn't have released, really. In that
Sometimes
kind of state.
2D asset may stay on screen indefinitely if triggered before a loading screen. VSync setting will be added to PS4 and Xbox One. 3D models to be improved. Oh my god, this is Xbox One specific issues to be fixed. Switch profile from Xbox menu issue. There is an issue if you change the profile on the main menu by disconnecting the profile in the Xbox menu and connect to another profile. If you are stuck on the main menu, please relaunch the game. So basically like system level breakage on consoles as well.
Just the cherry on top.
Just the cherry on top. Yeah, that's kind of it for news. Like, there's not a lot going on. It's a lot of people talking about PS5s and Xbox Series X's.
People
and
are
frame
blowing
rates
vape
and...
smoke into their Series X's.
Yeah, to fake that
Oh my God,
they're on
look at
fire.
it. Oh.
Seen people making a ping pong ball hover above it.
Oh yeah,
which turned out to be photoshopped.
It's also the perfect size to be a GameCube stand.
Yep.
You can just sit your GameCube on top of it and it fits perfectly.
In the Lincoln buy and sell group, there is an Xbox Series X going at the minute without its box, so that's fallen off the back of a van. Mysteriously just saying, offer me anything.
Anything, please.
That's totally. He's totally either nicked that out of someone's delivery.
Yes.
Like is
been sat outside the front of their house in a box or something because they weren't in.
People in America were worried that Best Buy was not shipping the PS5 in its own we're just shipping the PS5 in its box without like an outside box to disguise what it is.
Oh, yeah.
So anybody could look inside like the packaging box and go, "That's a PS5. That guy's not getting it. He's getting a brick." Yeah. The news is weird at the minute. Games are finally coming out again and whatnot. So
it's holiday season.
It's holiday season. The last bit of news, I guess, would be that certain PS4 games have been getting PS5 updates that have been trickling back to PS4 releases.
Yeah.
As in, like, The Last of Us getting really fast loading times on PS5 is now just on PS4 as well. But also, like, haptic feedback is now in The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
And
cool.
God of War.
That's one of the main reasons I've not gone back to Ghost of Tsushima. I think I
is hoping... Yeah, that game got a huge boost when you play it on PS5.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait and whenever I do go back to that, I'm just going to play it on PS5.
Are you gonna play that multiplayer thing that came out for it?
I've heard pretty good things about it. I was actually really enjoying the game. I guess played so many games like it that
Look, you went viral with your tweets, so that was more than enough for you.
I did. That's all. I need.
That's another thing to add to your list then.
That's still on the list. But that can't be played until we get a new TV, which is the plan for Christmas. Mom,
which, yes, will be Santa's doing that for you.
No, we've decided we want to get that 4K TV and wall mount it where the dog can't reach, because
good shout.
Any kind of floating leaves, any particle effects,
he's all over it.
Yeah, he just thinks he can snatch them. So Ghost of Tsushima was the game that started that, and hasn't had much playtime because it's not safe. But yeah, I will give that a go on PS5 when it's safe and out of dog reach.
Yeah, as part of that PlayStation Plus collection they're bringing out, I fully intend to play God of War. Is one of the first things I'm going to play on PS5, because I never actually played much of it on PS4. I had it, and I think I played about a third of it. But I feel guilty that I've not actually finished God of War, so that's what it'll be.
This brings me to a good question that I would like to ask you all.
Oh, what a segue.
I know. Look at me with a tangent.
Joel.
I've learned from the best. I would like us all to try and aim towards something. We're about 6 weeks away from the end of 2020.
Wow.
And I would like to know what game you would all like to finish before the end of the year. So,
Skyrim.
No. Ollie, no. It has to be, for you, it has to be a game that you've never finished
The Witcher
before.
3.
It doesn't have to be a game you've already started. Maybe there's a game that you still haven't played yet, but you want to
get to
through. I think we should all set ourselves a little goal by the end of the year to have finished a game that maybe we've had sitting around for a while, or we've is on our bucket list. I think that we should all endeavour to get something ticked off, and I'd like to know what
I'm having a look through my Steam library of like recent games that I've either purchased and not played yet, or
I just want to finally get to the end of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay, you've heard it here, folks.
Like
Ollie,
we're going to
publicly shame you if it gets to January 1st and you haven't finished that game.
I go through the same emotions every time I pick up that game, going, why did I stop playing this? This game's really fun. This is so much that I like. This is some nice, pretty environments, and then I get like an hour in, and then I hate the game with all my being.
It's just open world bullshit.
Yeah, I just get so angry at some of the mainly just any human enemies I have to fight in that game. Just send me down a spiral. And the last time I went on it, I started realizing I've probably not got that much left. It's probably like I'd say like 10 hours to complete the story, which in the context of the size of that game isn't really that much. And I just got into one of the like dungeon things, and this was a special one where there's no machines because it's been excavated by bandits and
nothing but people.
But yeah, there's plenty that I like about that, and I do eventually want to finish it because I've put so much time in that.
Especially if you're going to be playing the sequel whenever you do get your PS5.
I'm hopeful about that sequel. There's enough that I like in the game that if they just get that right and remove the fluff, there can be a really good sequel in there, and I absolutely do want to play it. I just want to get this shit out the way.
Let's get it done with. I've got a few options for my one. God of War, as we just said, is one of them that I'll definitely be playing as I get it as part of the PlayStation Plus stuff. I mean, I know I'm going to finish Danganronpa V3 because we just end up playing it for long periods of time at a time, and they're not massively long, so I'll get through that as well. That is one that I do want to finish. And I'd probably say my other one, because there are other games that I will play that I know I'm going to finish before then, like Spider-Man. But I also missed out on Devil May Cry 5, and there's the definitive edition of that coming out on PS5 as well. So hopefully
Yeah,
I will get through that by the end of the year as well.
I just bought the DMC HD collection and Devil May Cry 4 on PC.
Ooh.
Because I own Devil May Cry 5 on PC and have never installed it.
Yeah. I think I
but-
did and only got like a few hours in and just ended up picking up something else and it just kind of fell to the wayside. But by all rights, it looks like a game that I should absolutely love. So I'm not quite sure why I haven't played it yet. And also on the God of War front, I just want to feel how that axe coming back into your hand feels on the PS5 controller. That's going to be good stuff. So yeah,
Okay,
God
so
of War
we've
and
got-
Devil May Cry really are my main two.
Okay, and obviously that leaves us with Joel.
Wait, Lauren, what game were you?
Oh, yeah,
Did you
you-
choose?
I
Who are you
haven't
going
chosen
last?
yet. I'm going last. It's my question.
That's fair.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
still thinking.
I'm in two minds. It's stuff like, I want to finish Killer 7 and Killer is Dead so that I have like my little Suda theme going on here that I'd like to finish, because most of the games, Ollie, that I've played this year I have finished.
Well, look at you.
Look at this
With
guy,
my
MLG
unemployment
and
Jones.
time. Like I finished both Dooms. I finished
both Dooms this year.
I finished I'm trying to look now at what I played. I played all three of those BioShock games for some reason.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I wrote something on it and then deleted it.
Nice.
I played, I've played
I've probably played and finished more games this year than many other years, just because of me being like, well, it's lockdown, I need to work through the back catalogue. And I've actually really enjoyed it this year. This has been one of my like best years in gaming, just because I've gone through and played the last stuff that I missed for like the past 5 years or so, because I was in like a Hearthstone and League of Legends hole basically. Whereas now I've caught up on all the console stuff I missed out on the past few years, and it's been great. 2020 gaming wise for me has been fantastic.
Yeah, I wanted to go through a big catch up as well, and I think the first thing on that list to finish was God of War, and I did finish it.
Hey,
So I crossed the first thing off my list, Joel.
We're in November, Ollie.
Yeah, because like most of the stuff that I had in my like Steam backlog group I've deleted now. So like both those Alan Wake games are gone. I'm trying to think.
Control.
Like,
You played Control.
I played Control all the way through. I beat both of those DLCs.
I've just constantly picked stuff up in Steam sales. So like I got Assassin's Creed Origins and played a few hours of that, and yeah, liked that. Probably won't touch it again. I got Mad Max for £1.
Oh,
And because
it was a pound.
and I sure as hell haven't touched that.
On PC, is that?
Yeah.
The one that
that
came out a few years ago. Yeah.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
It's not based on any of the movies or anything. to my
Oh,
knowledge.
sorry. In my head, I had like Max Payne, and I was like, wait, why does that sound familiar?
Mad
And I was
Max
just
Payne.
like, oh no, Mad Max Payne. No, because that first Max Payne game does not run well on modern Windows systems without some finagling. I don't know. Like, it was going to be Riser 2, but then that's been delayed to next year for Western launch,
I saw that
which
too.
I keep forgetting about.
I'm actually kind of relieved because I need to. Oh, okay. I need to finish Riser.
There you go.
Yes. Okay. If you finish Riser,
Yeah,
because
I need to finish.
that is one of the best 40 hours of games that I've done this year.
Yeah, I
where
really enjoyed it, and I don't remember why I stopped playing it. I will have got another game, but
I think Spiritfarer and stuff started coming out.
yes, you're right. I need to finish Spiritfarer as well, so I'm going to give
Yeah,
myself
so don't
2
shame
games.
me.
I have nowhere near as many games open as you.
Ollie, we're up to technically 12 on the list
Oh,
here.
we got more than 12.
Oh, I know. I need to go through this group chat and see what you've been speaking about.
Always got to read out his Steam library to us. And just,
In front of the class.
yes, declare the list.
I don't know. At this point, like games that I want to finish, I'd probably say like the Suda stuff that I have in my backlog. So that's the Killer 7s and Killer is Dead. And for some reason, I own the silver case. I don't remember buying the silver case.
Oh,
I do not remember buying
the silver case.
June 28th, Ned Flanders Fucks now owns the silver case. I guess the silver case will be one of the things that I want to finish.
Well, there you
go. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. If I say I want to finish something, I'll never finish it, or I will take a long time to finish it. But if I just sort of like float into something, I'll eventually just sort of like, you'll end up with like, I'm starting Alan Wake. I've finished Alan Wake. Like I did with No More Heroes, where I just sort of like bought them on an impulse. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah. And now I have 6,000 words written on them, audio recorded, all 3 games recorded. And I've done that within the last 2 weeks. And a bunch of editing to do. So that's the sort of stuff that I'm like, you know, like I bought that battle pass for Genshin Impact. Guess what I've not done since?
Played Genshin Impact.
I'm glad I didn't spend money on that
what
game.
was that laugh?
Like a little like
I loved it.
I've got another question. Of the rest of the year and looking back on 2020, are there any games that you have not acquired yet that you wish to
good question.
play outside of Miles Morales, because we know where Ollie.
Oh man.
The rest of this year for November. Oh God, where are we in November now? 15th.
Yeah, I've pre-ordered Immortals Phoenix Rising because it comes out on Ollie's birthday, so we're gonna play that.
The rest of this year, according to Wikipedia, is the Halo Master Chief Collection for Series X, Bubble Bobble 4.
Oh, yeah.
What? I love Bubble Bobble. What? I didn't know about this.
Calm, energy down.
I love Bubble.
Wait, I think Bubble Bobble 4. I think it's an old.
But what's it being put to? Where's this coming?
Switch.
Oh my god.
It's been out for ages. That's not new.
Oh my god, I had no
Well, you
idea.
can't have been that excited then.
Well, I didn't know it existed. Don't shame me, Mr. 12 Games.
Technically 12 games. The Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Edition, Serious Sam Collection.
There's Hyrule Warriors as well.
Yeah, fuck that.
I kind of want to give it a go.
No.
I'll probably try the demo.
I like Warriors games. I don't really care for Zelda, so yeah.
Yeah.
If it ain't One Piece Pirate Warriors, I don't want to know.
Katamari Damacy Reroll is coming to PS4 and Xbox. That's a weird PC port, that Katamari Damacy Reroll, I'll be honest. Like, it doesn't give you access to the options to make it full screen until you've finished the tutorial.
Ooh.
World of Warcraft Shadowlands.
Oh yeah. Bug Snacks.
I kind of want to play Bug
I
Snacks.
play Bug Snacks.
I want to play Bug
I want to
Snacks.
play Bug Snacks.
Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 comes out at the end of this year.
Oh,
Hell
yes.
yeah. And it comes out before Cyberpunk 2077, so I know what I'm getting. Yeah. I don't know.
Not a massive amount, actually.
Not a massive amount from this year that I would like. I think the only game that I'm desperate to play that I just have no access to because hardware limitations is Half-Life Alyx.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't have a VR headset and kind of refuse to buy the Oculus Quest 2 because of the limitations they've put on it.
I mean, I guess this kind of semi-counts because I won't be playing it this year, but some people will be because I'll be playing it on different platforms to me. But Yakuza, Like a Dragon.
Yeah, I think like if I'm thinking of like games that I want to finish by the end of the year, I still have four Yakuza games and the Judgment game to get through.
I need to go through the pretty much everything that isn't Yakuza 0. But yeah, absolutely love 0.
They are the 1 and 2 are now on Game Pass PC.
Oh, what Kiwami?
Kiwami and Kiwami
Ooh,
2,
that's good to
as
know.
well as 0.
Yeah.
So you can play it without a PS4 because the PS4 version is shockingly juddery
Okay.
in some capacity because there's a lot of ragdolls.
Mm.
But yeah, is there anything else that we need to cover on this podcast?
Don't think so.
No, unless you came up with your FMK list, Joel.
No, I will have something for next. I will have something for next week.
I would have done
forgot to
mine
do
if I'd have
while I was
prepared it.
Yeah,
But
Joel.
so we will. Me and Jacob will come at you with a double
oh,
trouble.
man.
Ooh,
A double
a
fight.
Alright.
double.
So yeah, that's everything. Goodbye, everybody.
That's it.
Bye.
Goodbye.
I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Oh, decor.